What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
All right. What is it? Friday night? Must be Radio Baloney Live Friday night edition. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? We got Spam Butt, we got Rosie, we got Ottawa James in the chat already. Good to see you guys. All right. We are first going to go through the menu, everything we're going to talk about tonight. Then we're going to go to the chat. Then we're going to get into these stories in detail. First, let's go through everything we're going to talk about. So you have the first Antifa terrorism convictions. So that's a good thing. That can only be a good thing. We're going to talk about that. We got JD Vance addressing with a post here addressing Canada, and of course Canada's freaking out about it. I don't see the lie in this personally as a Canadian, quite frankly, but we'll go through this. You've got Trump meeting Mamdani, Zoran Mamdani. So they're meeting up, and we'll take a little bit of a look at this. It's just kind of funny, actually. We're going to talk about these insane Canada land claims that are just, this is the thing that's going to break Canada. It's everything else. Forget about, for my fellow Canadians, forget about Trump, forget about JD Vance, forget about Alberta independence, forget about Quebec sovereignty, forget about all that. The land claim stuff is what's going to wreck this country. It's going to destroy this country. It is the existential threat, okay? We're going to talk about that a little bit because it is totally nuts. It's bananas. We're going to talk about Canada's insane immigration, which is not getting better under Mark Carney. Very sorry. It's not happening, no matter what you like to believe. Here's a bit of UK stuff. There's that Katie Hopkins. She's always very amusing. Gender ideology stuff in Canada, woke Canada. But Danielle Smith is taking a stand and against, let's just call it what it is. Medical experiments on children. She's taking a stand. We're going to get into that. Of course, the media hates her and blah, blah, blah. But we're going to go through this quite a bit, and we're going to take a look at other countries and what they've done and what their justification is for doing the same thing as Danielle Smith, for protecting children from, again, like mad scientists. We got memes, obviously. We're going to do some memes. That's going to be good fun. Everybody loves that. We've got some... But Canada is it's a cautionary tale for the rest of the world. It's depressing having to go over this stuff, but I have to warn the rest of the world to not be us. All right. Canadian government regulations just dropped on streaming platforms. Content creators, they're insane. So it's the Online Streaming Act, Bill C-11, that was passed under Trudeau, which is, I think, just nakedly an attempt to control what Canadians can see, what information they can get, specifically news. I think that's what they're most concerned about. What do we got here? Yes, more immigration stuff, and for some reason, Canada loves to import transnational criminal gangs for some reason, and then just give them just the absolute infinite benefit of the doubt once they're here. It's crazy. Let's see. Here's something bananas. So this is out of Australia. There's some early childhood experts that are telling parents they should really be getting their baby's consent to change their diapers. Before you change the baby's diaper, really need to get the consent. It is real. It's actually real. This was posted by Marty up north here. He says, this is not satire. I had to check. I had to go to the article he was citing, Winnipeg Sun, and then I still thought, did the Winnipeg Sun get conned? No, it's real. It's real. And can you guess what these people, that's what they look like. That's what these researchers look like. Does that word even mean anything anymore? When these people exist and they're apparently taken seriously, does the word researcher even mean anything anymore? I don't think that it does. And it's exactly what you would think. Exactly what you would think.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
It's just crazy. Let's see. Canadian doctors lead a dance and rap performance. You know, pretty much like half of every stream is just woke Canada. Just woke Canada. Canadian doctors lead a dance and rap performance, a rap performance at the COP30 Climate Summit to warn about health impacts and rising global emissions. This is hilarious and also incredibly dumb. Incredibly dumb. Let's see. We're going to talk. Here's Sam Cooper, who is a Canadian journalist who writes extensively about foreign interference in Canada. And let's see. Foreign interference, Mark Carney. Is there some connection there? Does anybody wonder if there's some connection there? Spoiler alert, there's a connection there. We'll take a look at that. And then we get to the last one of the evening. And let me redo this. And this is where most of the stuff you guys send goes to. That you send on X goes to. So there was a lot. I couldn't get everything, but there's a lot, and we're going to go through it. This is like a lot of the lighter side stuff. Sometimes we got news in here too, but there's the lighter side of Radio Baloney. And what else we got going on? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we also have a fence show, a show about fences, which I think we all enjoy, particularly the lads. And then also, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the new channel. Rumble, you don't have to worry about it. Anywhere else, you don't have to worry. Just on YouTube, Radio Baloney News. It's a featured channel on my homepage of just the regular Radio Baloney channel. This is where you will find all the U.S. news, the world news, meme reviews, all that wonderful stuff. Please subscribe there because YouTube hates it when people subscribe there. They hate it. So do it just to spite them. All right. So now we do the chat. So let's see. As everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble, on YouTube, on X, and on Locals. Now, when you like the stream, obviously when you subscribe to the channel, it goes without saying, but when you like the stream, you get a free, discreet package of good karma straight from Radio Baloney. It's the good karma that I build up this reservoir of while I'm prepping for the streams and researching and everything and doing the stream. It builds up this reservoir of good karma, and I can't keep it for myself because that would be bad karma. So I've got to keep giving it away. So you guys get it when you like the stream. Now, when you're one of the first people to do it, you get extra good karma. It could be 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, a lot. It could be a lot. And in these troubled times, are you going to turn your back on that kind of good karma? I don't think so. Let's see. Spambot says, let's get the show on the road. It's on the road now. Let's see. Rosie says, hey there. 2. Oh, Spambot got the first like. So let's say tonight that's quadruple good karma. Quadruple good karma. Quadruple good karma. That's 4 times, people. 4 times good karma for Spambot fodder. That's a lot. That's a lot. Rosie got the second. So that's 3 times good karma. Very nice. La 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 la. What are we talking about? Ottawa James. Hey, usual suspects. Good to see you, Ottawa James. Spambot says Rumble is lagging behind X tonight. Oh, dear. Well, I don't know. Spambot got the first like on X. That's 8 good karmas for Spambot. 8. It's a nice amount. Let's see. Let's see. Macross, how you doing? 10 out of 10 NYC mayor hate. Sauron damn commie. So it's not Zoran Mamdani. It's Sauron damn commie. That's a good one. I approve. Approved. Let's see. Izzy got like number 5. So what's that? That's like 1.5 good karmas, I think. Something like that. That's a lot. Still a lot. Even 1 is a lot. Well, Radio Streamer, how you doing, Radio Streamer? Hello, fellow degenerate basket of deplorables. Orange Hitler following meat byproduct free Balonians. Good to see you. Let's see. Dunk at Dunk. How you doing over on YouTube? Is she trying to get rammed? Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. I hesitated to even repeat that. But No, she's just a connoisseur of fine fences. It's the fence show, in case you didn't know. It's about fences. So everything else is just whatever. It's really about fences. All right. Well, I guess with that, we'll just get started on the news. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's see. So Trump admin. So from Breitbart here, a Trump admin has scored its first ever Antifa terrorism convictions. So the Trump administration is serious, and it's a time somebody did. I mean, Antifa is just the kind of Democrat paramilitary. That's why they're mad about it, right? But it's the Democrat paramilitary. And of course, the Democrats like them, so the media likes them too. They're just an idea or something, and they're against fascism. And isn't everybody against fascism and stuff? Uh, it's so strange. It's still strange to me. I'm so used to it at this point, but it's still so strange to me that when you see people who are supposed to have some sort of journalistic authority, on the news, where, once upon a time they were seen by millions of people, not so much anymore, but so curiously incurious about what something like, I don't know, like an organization like Antifa, what they actually do. Because if they had the slightest bit of curiosity and they were to interrogate it, just the slightest little bit, they'd realize that it's not, well, they're just against fascism. No, it's not really that. They seem to act a lot like fascists, right? It's not really that they're just a bunch of nice guys who are they're against racism. No, these are violent revolutionaries. These are violent communist revolutionaries, okay? And Aaron Burnett, they also hate you. But in any case, let's take a look. So, 5 plead guilty in Texas ICE facility ambush. First ever Antifa terrorism convictions. In a landmark case, 5 members of a North Texas Antifa cell have become the first defendants in America to be convicted on terrorism charges, pleading guilty to providing material support to terrorists after a violent July 4th ambush on the ICE Prairieland detention facility in Alvarado, Texas. So you've got these 5 names. So you've got these 5 people here. Got 5 people entered their pleas on November 19th in shackles before a federal judge in Fort Worth, admitting their roles in the attack that left a police officer shot in the neck. Each now faces up to 15 years in prison, marking what prosecutors call the nation's first successful terrorism case against Antifa militants. Now, the whole terrorist designation in terms of, these domestic groups is more kind of symbolic than actual law, because you can't actually charge domestic groups as terrorists. Now, Trump has since labeled Antifa an international terrorist group, which gives them more, which changes their status somewhat, but that didn't affect this here. The plea by 5 now convicted Antifa terrorists comes just days after a federal grand jury indicted 9 North Texas Antifa cell operatives, the U.S. Attorney for Northern District of Texas reported. 7 additional alleged terrorists were charged by information for their role in offenses including rioting, using weapons, and explosives. So, I mean, not really so much just an idea, it turns out. Providing material support to terrorists, obstruction, and attempted murder of an Alvarado police officer and unarmed corrections officer at the Prairieland Detention Center, July 4th. This is the first indictment in the country against a group of violent Antifa cell members. So during a 40-minute plea hearing before the U.S. magistrate, Judge Jeffrey Curtin, the judge asked the 5 defendants if they suffered ailments or took medication that would prevent them from understanding the proceedings. Well, mental illness is a serious, that's well known to be, Antifa is rife with mental illness. And also, like, half of them are trans as well. So, unsurprisingly, two of the Antifa gangsters claimed depression. One claimed bipolar disorder, and the other two claimed ADHD. The judge did find them to be competent and accepted their voluntary guilty plea. Let's see. According to a press release from the Justice Department, the defendants, dressed in black military-style clothing, began shooting fireworks at the facility as part of an organized attack. So, USA Larson revealed the 9 indicted suspects were charged with riot, providing material support to terrorists, conspiracy to use and carry an explosive. I mean, it goes on. This is all very serious. So, the now convicted Antifa terrorists each face up to 15 years in federal prison. They are set for a sentencing hearing on March 12th. So, if they could each face 15 years in federal prison after basically pleading, they obviously pleaded down, right? It must have been life in prison, like serious hard time, like 40 years, 50 years. So, this can only be described as a victory for reason, basically, and civilization, because Antifa are revolutionary communists. You can call them anarcho-communists, whatever. But they are for burning down your civilization. And you just simply can't have that. There's only so much you can just allow these Bolsheviks, these modern Bolsheviks, to just run around creating havoc and terror. We know what happens when you just allow that to happen. You end up with the Russian Revolution, and you end up with, the Red Terror, and then just 70 years of just a boot on a human face all the time. You end up with just millions of people dying needlessly, right? Just an unimaginable amount of just wasted human potential. So, yeah, you can't just let them run around being terrorists. You've got to stop it. This is a good sign. All right. I want to go back here for a second. Here, Andy, no, the first Antifa terrorism convictions in U.S. history just happened. And they are all just what you thought, right? They're all just what you thought. They all are weird, funny-looking people, aren't they? Funny-looking people. What do you call it? Dysgenic? Is that what you call it? Let's see. Yeah, so the Trump administration has gone hard on this. I mean, look, here's one in Germany, Antifa Ost, Hammerband. They just go around and attack people with hammers. Right? You think that Antifa in Canada or in the US doesn't want to do this as well? Of course they do. They're violent people and they have killed. So, anyway, that's good news. And I think that I'm going to get rid of these tabs because we got so many tabs set up. All right, let's get back to the chat for a second. Let's see. Izzy says, free Baloney's bloody autocorrect. Well, I don't control the autocorrect of the chat. I have nothing to do with it. Radio stream. How you doing, radio streamer? Richie says, I hesitate to even read that comment. Also, Richie always reads offensive comments. That's what happens. You know why?
None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
That's the way it goes. I'm in control. Macross, how you doing? Let's see. Says, I'll give you news. Another few hundred Christian students were disappeared in Nigeria. We will, let's see. What's this? Something about Bosnian Christians defending themselves against Muslims wholesale. Well, yeah, I mean, this is something that we've talked about, really a lot, and it's actually talked about a lot now on kind of the right side of things. Is just the double standards, which are just endless, and they don't care. Right? The mainstream news does not care. The left doesn't care. Leftist politicians don't care. And nothing can seem to make them care. Cross says Christians being murdered in Africa and no one gives a damn. Yeah, they don't. Let's see. Izzy says 15 years for shooting a police officer. Well, I mean, it's a. Yeah, well, I don't know. So there's 5. I don't know if the guy who shot the police officer was included in that. That might be a separate one. It didn't say in the article. All right, I'm going to skip down a little bit. Izzy says, yeah, boot on the face is about how I feel. Yeah. Oh, Spambot says, he said Bolshevik twice. Everybody take a shot. 2 shots. That's the drinking game on this channel. Anybody new? Every time I say Bolshevik, you have to take a shot. Of what? I don't care. Let's see. All right. So let's keep moving on. So JD Vance caused quite a stir in Canada, but the fact of the matter is he's right. JD Vance, so he's responding to this. What happened in Canada will be studied by many historians and economists as the prime example of self-destruction of an otherwise prosperous nation after blindly following left ideology. And it happened fast. It happened in 10 years. Electing Justin Trudeau, a virtue signaling drama teacher, we allowed Canada to be remade in his image, in his shallow, stupid image, in his shallow, anti-Western, anti-Canada, anti-reason image, in his gross, in his radical far left image. It takes a decade to wreck a country, it turns out. That's our lesson to the world as a cautionary story. Canada's living standards growth is even worse than Britain's. So what do we got? There's Canada down here. US is still going up. Even under Biden, it was still going up. UK, we're even worse than the UK at this point. And UK is in serious trouble, by the way. There's been talk of an IMF bailout just recently. So JD Vance responds to this, and he says, while I'm sure the causes are complicated, it's actually not that complicated. Canada went radically progressive. We elected a radical progressive drama teacher clown to run the country because he was going to legalize pot. How he got elected after that, it's even worse, actually, because we actually knew what he was after that. And many knew what he was before that. But basically, we gave away our country to have free weed. That's basically what happened. While I'm sure the causes are complicated, no nation has leaned more into diversity is our strength. We don't need a melting pot. We have a salad bowl. Immigration insanity than Canada. Yeah, we have had the highest per capita immigration in the world. It has the highest foreign-born share of the population in the entire G7, and its living standards have stagnated. Well, if you include all of the foreign students and the foreign, the temporary foreign workers who are supposed to, I mean, some people, lefties won't count that in the stats because they're going to go home. It turns out they don't. They don't go home. But if you count all of it, yeah, it's a third of the country right now. And he says, and he continues, and with all due respect to my Canadian friends whose politics focus obsessively on the United States, your stagnating living standards have nothing to do with Donald Trump or whatever bogeyman the CBC tells you to blame. The fault lies with your leadership, elected by you. And this is just true. I mean, here's the thing to living a successful life and a good life. Okay. Recognize that the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free, right? You can only improve by not lying to yourself, by not making excuses. The truth will set you free. Recognize the truth. Interrogate the truth. Recognize it. Accept it. Love the truth. Because if you want to get yourself out of a hole, you've got to know why you got into the hole in the first place. This is something that Canada soundly rejected. This is something that Canada roundly rejected in the last election. After almost a decade of just maddening stupidity. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. We're not ready to quit drinking yet. We're not ready to quit smoking crack yet. Right? One more time. Just one more go. We got a new dealer, Mark Carney. He's a banker, so he'll fix everything. Yeah. The fault lies with our leadership, elected by us. Not me. I sure as hell didn't vote for any of those clowns. I certainly didn't vote for the liberal clowns. Absolutely not. But yes, it's a decade of lunacy. A decade of total and complete lunacy. That is what has done it. It's not Donald Trump. Trump has played a very small part in this, a tiny part in this. And it's certainly not J.D. Vance's fault. So, Viva Fry says, living standards have not stagnated. They have utterly collapsed. More homeless people over 50 than ever. Nobody can afford a home. Record levels of childhood poverty. Greatest rates of government-sanctioned murder, what the government cutely refers to as MAID, medical assistance in dying, which they want to give to people just for depression as well, amazingly. Yeah, Canada's also a cautionary tale on MAID as well. Let's see. Foreign infiltration in government. 15% of Canadian MPs born outside of Canada. There's an obvious problem with that. 22% of Canadians born outside of Canada. Again, if you count all of the people that are supposedly here temporarily, it's actually a third of the country. It is societal collapsing levels of diversity. Diversity. They've been telling us that that's the key to a strong economy for a long time now, and it turns out they lied. It's just demonstrably untrue. So they'll keep telling us that though, because they know there's a lot of Canadians that are dumb. Let's see. So much of Canada's population is foreign born now. I mean, it's just madness. Here we go. Yeah, almost 32%. So almost a third of the country. Yeah, it's total madness. All right. We had high immigration before. Even under the last Conservative government, we had high immigration. Now it's just completely insane. I will say that under the Harper administration, at least there was room to change. Like before it was too late, right? We gave ourselves the leeway there so that we could stop before it got too crazy. We could adjust. With Trudeau, nope, just all the brakes off, just mad rush. We just couldn't be empathetic enough for and compassionate enough for Justin Trudeau with his infinite empathy on our behalf. So, all right. Let's see. We're going to get to Trump and Mamdani in a second. Let's first go back to the chat for a second. Why not? Let's do it. Let's go there. Let's see. What are you guys saying? I don't know what James says. Simply, damn commies. Damn commies. Damn them indeed. I still find it hilarious. The word commie, like COMMIE, is a sensitive term on YouTube. It's a sensitive term because you might hurt a commie's feelings. You might hurt one of their comrades' feelings. You know, there's a bunch of people calling each other comrade at fucking YouTube, don't you? You just know it. You just know it. Right? They've all got their little hammer and sickle tattoos somewhere. Probably they probably got hammer and sickle tramp stamps, the men and the women, and they're all in there. You know it. Oh, commie. Well, that's a sensitive name. That could be offensive to a communist, to a revolutionary communist, to somebody who admires Stalin. I say, fuck them. That's what I say. That's just how I feel about it. Let's see. What James says, I like JD. I like him too. I think he's good. I think he'll make a fine president after Trump. I want to address something on here too. So hold on. I want to go back for a second and just address something. So he says, with all due respect to my Canadian friends whose politics focus obsessively on the United States. So the liberals were obsessed with, well, they were obsessed by trying to use MAGA as like a cudgel to beat conservatives in Canada. So there's this, the Liberal Party and also the NDP and the mainstream media in Canada are totally allied in this strategy of you demonize any American, and not just Trump, by the way, any American conservative, always bad, always reported on negatively, always framed negatively. And then the left-wing Canadian parties can use that as a cudgel to beat Canadian conservatives. So it's a rigged game. It's a circle jerk with them, right? So you can have, Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau in Parliament, and half the ministers there just constantly saying Maple MAGA. Pierre Poilievre is Maple MAGA, Maple MAGA. Why do they do that? Because the media has been brainwashing the public, all the people plugged in whose brains are directly plugged into the CBC teleprompters. They've been brainwashing them to hate anything. It's not just Trump. Again, it's not just Trump. It's any conservative from the States. They've been brainwashed to hate them on purpose. So then liberals can use it to attack conservatives here and say, they're Maple MAGA, Maple MAGA. It's a game. It's so cynical, and it really drives you crazy. But a reason I started this channel, one of the reasons, was not just to report on Canadian news, but it was also to offer a different opinion for Canadians on a different angle for Canadians on American politics as an antidote to the constant nonstop stream of propaganda the Canadians are fed. I think it's really important because it does affect Canadian politics. It affects who people vote for in Canada. The CBC's reporting on American politics affects who Canadians vote for in Canada because they use it to try and scare Canadians from voting for their own domestic conservative party. Anyway, let's go back. Let's go back to the Vance channel for a second. McCross says, heard J.D. Vance has been found guilty of a plot to kill J.D. Vance. What? I've not heard that. Ottawa James says J.D. Vance gets it. Let's see. McCross says, James Donald Vance sentenced for social media threats to Trump. Vance, really? Maybe he's just really mad about having those same initials. Let's see. Izzy says, has nothing to do with Trump. Inflation was obvious even before Trump and got worse before tariff changes kicked in. No, yeah, this was all happening, right? It was all happening. What liberals do is that they don't leave they're not really liberals, they're radical progressives. What they do is that they don't leave any room for change. They don't leave any room in case there's a financial shock. So you don't have any insurance against a financial shock, right? You don't have any savings. They can't see further than their own shadow or the next election, and they just spend and max out the spending and then borrow. So when something like these tariffs hit, you're kind of screwed because you've got nothing in reserve. You're very little. You can't do that much because you're already in so much debt. It's just like a household, right? If you've maxed out your credit cards and all of a sudden there's some economic shock, a medical bill or something, the car breaks down, you don't have money for it. That's Canada now. And yes, it was a decade of awful, disastrous economic policy. Let's see. Gonna skip down to the end. The paid off media, Ottawa James says 100%. Let's see. All right. It's sad. So Izzy says it's sad so many fall for it. Easy prey for the woke mind virus. Didn't even look at my link for easy prey for the woke mind virus. Easy prey for the woke mind virus. Yes. And that's unfortunately a lot of people. Didn't look at my link of proof. Where was that? There was a link in here somewhere. Social media threats. All right, we can do it. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right, let me just copy that. Copy. We'll paste it. All right, let's take a look. All right, let's see. Michigan man, Detroit Free Press. Michigan man named J.D. Vance gets prison time for social media threats to Trump November 19th. So this just a couple of days ago. Michigan man named J.D. Vance sentenced to 2 years in federal prison this week for making threats against President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and others. 67-year-old James Donald Vance Jr. Yeah, he's just really mad that they're sharing the same name. Really mad about it. But it's true. All right. So where are we? New York. Maybe we should do an ad read quickly. I don't know. What do you think? What do we got? Which one do I like the best? Oh, well, I think that whatever happened to the Westwood One ads? Used to love those. Don't see them. All right. I'm just going to do the one that pays the most, and it ain't much, but it's something. So I love this ad. I love this beautiful ad. You guys know that. Let's be clear. Cryptocurrency is no longer emerging. It's here. And this latest move cements that reality in the biggest way yet. Trump Media Group just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Crypto.com, the world's top crypto platform. They're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards, and real-world perks like cashback on your spends to launch America's first CRO treasury. When it's done, this new company will be the biggest CRO holder out there. Want in on the action? Head to crypto.com. That's crypto.com today and grab some CRO. Let's make crypto great again. You see, that's such a beautiful and dramatic ad copy that I got to give it the dramatic read. I've got to make it kind of theatrical and very dramatic. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it justice. I need to be worthy of the ad, and that's what I try to be every time. McCraw says, "Is Richie doing Masterpiece Theater?" Yes, as a matter of fact, that's exactly what I'm doing. It needs that dramatic reading. It needs that kind of weight. Sounded kind of Arnold. No, it doesn't, Ottawa James. It does not sound... Arnold, would you read it like this? Got to get the crypto, CRO. He's the most crypto, billion crypto. That's more like Arnold, but not really like Arnold either. Let's see. Crypto is a big spender, are they? Look, I will do literally anything for $1. All right. Let's move on. So Benny Johnson here posted this. So here is Trump and Zoran Mamdani. How did you think it was going to go? Because they don't like each other. Zoran keeps calling Trump a fascist, and Donald Trump has threatened to lock him up if he to charge him if he blocks ICE. So here they are together. Now, I guess, New York is, it's, I guess, the financial center of the world. Probably not for that much longer, but with a communist running New York. But it is a big deal to be the mayor of New York, right? It is actually important. So let's take a look. Let's see how this went.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
President Zelensky said today that his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism that... Are you affirming?
So... I really like Trump's approach here. He's just like, it actually totally defuses the whole thing, right? And it actually, in an interesting way, it defuses Zoran Mamdani because he's sending the message, look, it's just politics, right? He's just politics. So and you can see that Zoran didn't seem that happy with that there, right? Because again, it defuses him as some sort of a threat or this revolutionary. It's just like, whatever, say whatever you want, don't care. We all know what you're doing. Let's watch it one more time.
Do you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes. Okay. Yeah. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
President Zelensky said today that his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism that...
Yeah, the whole Ukraine thing, that's a whole different story. But we're not going to get into that one now. Hold on a second. Let's see. That was this one here. Okay. Where are we? More on Mamdani here. This was posted by Chief Nerd. So here he has asked how exactly he's going to get the money to do this whole free buses thing, right? Because the governor is not for raising taxes. Let's take a look.
And the other one, you're talking about fast and free buses and you're meeting with the governor. I've heard you talk about many times that you don't want to take money away from the MTA. You want to put money back in. It's something that she agrees with, right? We don't want to take away money from the MTA. How are you getting that money, the $700 million to make the buses free, into the MTA if she's not for raising taxes?
I think that the two clearest ways to raise that money is through the raising of the state's corporate tax to match that of New Jersey. I think that a lot of this is still a case to be made, whether it's the corporate tax or that's the personal income tax on those who make more than $1 million a year or more. I think that these are the clearest ways. I've also said that if there are other ways to raise this funding, the most important fact is that we fund it, not the question of how we do it, but that we do it.
And the other one, you're talking about fast.
So he's not going to do it. right? The most important thing is that we do it, not how we do it. But the kind of how is kind of important, right? Because without the how, it doesn't happen. So I guess there's going to be some disappointed New York City commies. Let's see. This was interesting. So from Eric Doherty here, he posted this. And this is what you would expect when you have a communist take over a city. A brutal development, New York City restaurant mogul cancels all future restaurant expansion. This is exactly what you would expect. Because he may not have the power to raise like corporate income tax. He may not have the power to raise corporate taxes in New York City, but he can still do a lot of damage.
Going to leave entirely, but you're definitely not going to add any more restaurants here under this new leadership. Why do you take such issue with the new mayor?
Currently, we had 3 leases ready to sign in October. Upper West Side, Upper East Side, and West Side Midtown to expand Diner 24, because we were the first to bring back the 24-hour diner post-COVID. Because remember, all of them closed, and we brought back the 24-hour diner. And it really, really was such a success. We wanted to open 4 altogether just in the Manhattan area. But, when I start hearing uncertainty and I start hearing, defund the police and a lot of uncertainty in the small business areas of what I'm hearing this upcoming mayor campaigning on, we like clarity. We don't like guessing. So right now we're just like a sit back and wait and see if he could pass some of these things that he campaigned on, because we're not going to open businesses in that climate.
So if not in New York City, where else might you open more business?
Yeah, the thing is that as mayor, he's still responsible for, he can still jack up property taxes, which is going to be a problem, which will affect rentals as well. He can still, there's a million ways they can raise funds. They just knew 500 new licenses for this guy to run his restaurant. Each one of them costed $500 or something. Yeah, it's probably not going to be enough for the free buses, right? But still, he can mess things up immensely there. But let's see, where is he talking about going?
Well, we have 2 diner leases ready to go in Miami, where I am right now. And we have plenty of capital to expand because the business is doing so well, and I believe there's a need for a 24-hour diner. But when you get to that $20 price point, people don't, the politicians don't understand it because they never ran a lemonade stand. But when you raise minimum wage to $30, at that point, that $12 hamburger becomes $22. And it's not going to work when you're in the fast casual business where the average ticket is $15 to $24 a person. That's basically a nail in the coffin. You're out of business. And all I say to the upcoming mayor, is, and actually he's quite impressive for a 33-year-old, but he's never run a business. He's never run a small business. And to me, I think he needs to open the doors for dialogue or debate with small business owners like myself and other restaurateurs and other small business owners to open dialogues. I think the best thing for all of us is a better New York City. And I just think his policies, his Democrat socialistic policies do not work for small.
Yeah, look, whether you want to call him a democratic socialist or just a straight up communist, I mean, I've shown you clips of him talking about how he wants to seize the means of production and get rid of private property. But whatever you call him, right, his ideology is, and all of their ideology is, an oppressed oppressor narrative. Everything is a zero-sum game. So there's never any positive sum outcomes. It's always one person wins and one person loses. And the person who wins is the oppressor, and the person who loses is the oppressed. That's how they see everything. That's the lens they see literally every human transaction through, right? And this is how you get like DEI and all of that. And, this person, here's a specific person that can't apply for this job, for instance, because of their oppressor status, like white men, right? So this guy's right to be afraid of this guy destroying his business, like jacking up minimum wage to $30 an hour, because Mamdani just sees him as an oppressor. It's black and white for him, right? It's cut and dry. This guy's an oppressor, and he's oppressing everybody. He's oppressing the people that work at the restaurant. He's oppressing the people that eat at the restaurant. He's just an oppressor. That's how they view everything through. So there's really nothing that you can't do to this guy, right? He deserves it all because of his oppressor status in his world, in his ideological worldview. So, yeah, it is perfectly rational for a business owner, even one like this guy whose businesses are doing well. He says they're doing well there. It's rational to make the judgment that, well, soon it's not going to be doing well. $30 an hour minimum wage, soon we're not going to be doing well, right? A whole new tranche of regulations that are going to cost $1 million. Suddenly we're not going to be doing well. So it's perfectly rational to say, oh, we'll just go to Florida. Let's take this investment. We'll see how it's going to go here in New York, but we're going to take our investment money and take it down to Florida and expand there instead. Totally rational, totally sane. Let's see. Hold on. McCross says he's another unearned income tax guy. He can't wait to get his hands on that sweet Wall Street cash. Well, the governor's going to keep him in check on a lot of the taxes. No, he can raise property taxes, though, in New York. But the unearned income tax guys, these are the people that think that Elon Musk has, $500 billion in his garage or something, right? Like, they don't understand, the whole kind of stocks, that sort of thing. Like, you don't just have all this cash, right? And your wealth depends, like Elon Musk's wealth depends on whether or not his companies do well. If they'll go bankrupt, he doesn't have any money. But they don't understand that. They think that these guys just have, they think that billionaires just have billions of dollars hanging around, right? They've just got, pallets of cash, like in a Breaking Bad, all over the place. No, that's not how it works. But they don't understand that because they're dumb and they don't care and they don't want to know. All right. Let's see. Rosie says, crypto ad, 0 out of 10. What? 0 out of 10 chocolate stars for no call me hate. Well, you know that I can't do the call me hate in that one. I got to read the script. A whole chocolate cake for the growly read. Well, thank you, Rosie. Thank you very much. Let's see. What else are we saying? McCross says, because if he makes money, it means more money to steal from the business. Yes. That's the way that Mamdanis think about the world. McCross says he does all the work and the city politician thugs come and take it away. Izzy says eventually you run out of other people's money to spend. Yeah, that's the old Margaret Thatcher line. And it's true. Let's see. Otto James says 7-Eleven leaving Canada. Good job, Cardi. Are they really leaving Canada? I hadn't heard that. Wow. Izzy says, yes, seeing that wasn't clear if it was all the Canadian locations at the end, though. And Otto James says all of them. Wow. Crazy. It's amazing. If 7-Eleven can't make money, that's a really bad sign for Canada. What do we got here? All right. So I want to show you, with all of the insanity around the land claims in Canada and how the NDP government in British Columbia seems to have just been conspiring to give away literally everybody's property, 95% of the province, on so-called, unceded land. They've already given away a big chunk of Richmond, right? Where, private property is now seriously at risk. And when you go over the court judgment from that Cowichan decision, it's pretty clear. Yes, like the judge thinks that Aboriginal title supersedes fee simple. This is a catastrophe, not just for British Columbia, for the entire country. This can be what actually breaks the country. It's Donald Trump is not going to break the country. JD Vance is not going to break Canada, right? The people who will break Canada are the people that Canadians have elected for the last decade on stuff like this. I mean, we're talking about, over $2 trillion. That's the value of the land in British Columbia, which the activist judges and our insane government are in the process of just giving away. It's total lunacy. Here is Dallas Brody. So she was in the BC Conservative Party until she realized that the BC Conservative Party is woke as hell and not really conservative. In fact, she was kicked out. She formed, she's part of One BC, which is the real conservative party in British Columbia. Dallas Brody, here's something no other politician will say. We're not sorry for building Canada. This is what we need to hear. Okay, so now with these court decisions, the land acknowledgements need to go away. We need to have a more truthful history of Canada, more truthful history of all of the provinces. It's been a nonstop stream of anti-Western, anti-Canada propaganda from academics, and then that went into the media, and it's it's with the politicians as well. Completely insane. It has to stop. This threatening of private property has to be the line. There's more, and I'm sorry to say that I think most British Columbians don't even know what's happening. That their house right now, where they live, that they've paid for, is under threat. I think most British Columbians still don't know because the media is very much soft pedaling this and not alerting them to just how serious this really is, what a serious threat it really is. This can turn British Columbia into the third world, right? And it's actually a massive threat to the entire country. But let's hear Dallas Brody here. And this is what we need. Everybody needs to get to this same line where they're like, okay, no, we're not doing this anymore. This isn't just a nice thing that we can virtue signal over and signal to everybody how nice we are and how progressive we are. Now, this is serious now, and this is where it actually leads. So let's take a look.
Mr. Speaker, our bill will remove Truth and Reconciliation Day as a holiday in British Columbia. Why? Because it doesn't deserve to be one. This day celebrates the greatest lie in Canadian history, the lie that 215 bodies were found at the Kamloops Indian Residential School. But the truth is, Canadians never have committed a genocide. This holiday seeks to shame Canadians for building a civilization, for building Canada instead of leaving this land as an untamed wilderness. The idea that we need to reconcile presumes an act of wrongdoing and regret. But we have no regrets, nothing to reconcile for, and no apologies to give, because we did nothing wrong. Settling and building Canada was great, and we're proud of it. Canadians embarked on grand and daring journeys to explore this continent. They braved rocky rivers and scaled towering mountains. They built railroads. They built this beautiful legislative building. Canadians discovered insulin and saved millions of lives. Canadians ushered in marvels of engineering and sent astronauts into outer space. We're proud to have staved off the American invasion in the War of 1812. We're proud to have fought in 1 and 2 world wars. We're proud to have invented the telephone. We're proud we ended slavery, established laws, and brought peace to warring tribes. We're proud to have brought Indigenous people with us into the modern age and formed Canada together. Instead of guilting our nation, let's celebrate it.
And of course, the far left premier of BC said that was racist and appalling and abhorrent. I didn't hear any racism in there. I just heard, reality, right? That's the real truth there, right? Nobody denies that there weren't bad things that happened. Nobody denies that. but it's planet Earth, right? And bad things happen. Bad things were very bad. Much worse things were happening before Europeans came to this continent. I mean, you had endemic slavery, you had constant warfare, real genocide, right? So let's, this is a much more realistic view of what Canada is. When they talk about decolonizing, they're not talking about, well, we don't want electricity, we don't want hospitals, we don't want TVs, we don't want air conditioning, we don't want houses, we don't want cars. No, none of that. Still want all of that, right? These things are all colonialism. The legal system, which is being abused right now, that's a colonial construct. Everything that's happening is completely insane and irrational. And we need more people like this to just stand up and say the truth, right? Just stand up and say the truth and say, no, I'm not apologizing anymore. No, sorry, not doing it. We built Canada. The people who built Canada built a country that's one of the pinnacles of human well-being in all of history, right? A wealthy, prosperous, free country for everybody, including Indigenous people. That's the truth. That's the truth. There is no ongoing genocide, right? The misuse of the word genocide in recent years is just rendered the term meaningless. And the left does that with everything, right? The word racist, meaningless now. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't even faze people anymore, right? Just like, yeah, you just say that about everything, right? Same thing with the word genocide. It's just applied scattershot by leftists on everything, right? It's the genocide in Gaza, trans genocide, blah, 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 asexual genocide, to the point where the word doesn't mean anything anymore. So, yes, we need more brave people like this to just stand up and stand against the mad crowd, the lunatic crowd, and just say, no, you are wrong. The real Mr. Bench posted that. He said, how many people agree with Dallas Brody? I do. BC and Canada also should get rid of Truth and Reconciliation Day. Well, there's no Truth and Reconciliation Day, as we've discovered, right? It does not help. It seems to have created a bigger divide. And with the various tribes going to court seeking private land, it is not pushing people further apart. It is now pushing people further apart, I think is what he meant to write there. Yeah, it is. It's by definition divisive, right? So like DEI, right? So everybody, the most important thing about everybody is immutable characteristics or sexual characteristics or something, right? Inherently divisive. The purpose is to divide, to put people into different groups, right? So if you're this skin color, you're now just a faceless part of this identity blob. If you're this, you're now a part of this faceless identity blob. The purpose is to divide. And it's just the irony, right? That's what we hear. You're trying to divide us. No.
Mr. Speaker.
No, we're not trying to divide. This was a message of unity. Bill will remove. This was a message of unity, actually. Let's see. All right. Let's move on. Canada immigration. Mario Zelaya posted this. No way Canada is being flooded by asylum claims because of an iPhone Android app. CBSA doesn't process the asylum claims. The app does, with zero human interaction. So this is truly unbelievable. If you want to see why Canada's in the state that it is now, this describes it for you. Now, and you can see here as well that it's clearly just a mad rush to get as many people in as possible. Let's take a look.
So you're saying that a refugee claimant coming to Canada goes to a machine and says, I want to be a refugee in Canada, hits a button and they're in the country. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not a machine, it's an application. So the one-touch system, they're given instructions on how to use that. That connects directly with IRCC, and they're given that documentation to complete on their own once they're in the country. We're not doing that.
So basically, they take out their phone theoretically and they tap it a few times, and they are now in the country as a refugee accepted by our country.
Yes, we get some basic data from them, and again, we do the biometrics. Beyond that, they're doing that on their own. Yes.
So what's happening, guys? Always lots. So you're saying
so you can show up at the airport in Canada, go on an app, press a button, and you can just go into the country. You don't even have to see anybody. You don't have to talk to a human. You're just in now. So no background check, no nothing. You're just in. Tell me this is not obviously a government that's just simply trying to flood as many people as possible into the country. There is no other explanation. Of course, they say that, well, because the immigration, we don't have enough agents to deal with everybody. Well, there's a solution to that. Don't let in more people than they can deal with, right? That's a pretty simple explanation. It seems like the real purpose is just to flood as many people as possible. You don't even need any border people, any immigration people. Just you've got the One Touch app on their phones. That's good enough. Yes, this is obvious. This isn't just a mistake. This isn't oversight. This is a plan. Let's see. I mean, a self-described elitist globalist central banker wouldn't do that, would he? He would have been telling Trudeau to do that since 2020 when he was an advisor to Justin Trudeau, would he? I think he would. I think that he would. This one's a bit longer. I think we should watch it.
England was done there. That's changed to a system that's called One Touch. So essentially, we get tombstone data, we do some biometrics, and the claimant is then allowed into the country to complete their security screening and such on their own through the One Touch system. They have, I believe it's 45 days to submit that, meaning, in essence, to speed things up, because we are short-staffed, we're allowing people into the country without first doing that security screening.
Okay, hold on a second here. So you're saying that a refugee claimant coming to Canada goes to a machine and says, I want to be a refugee in Canada, hits a button and they're in the country. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not a machine, it's an application. So the One Touch system, they're given instructions on how to use that. That connects directly with IRCC, and they're given that documentation to complete on their own once they're in the country. We're not doing that.
So basically, they take out their phone theoretically and they tap it a few times, and they are now in the country as a refugee accepted by our country.
Yes, we get some basic data from them, and again, we do the biometrics. Beyond that, they're doing that on their own. Yes.
So no human interaction. Your members do not ask any questions, don't confirm anything. It's a free for all into the country that way.
Very little. I don't know if I'd use the term free-for-all, but for the most part, it's self-declaration on the claimant's part, yes.
And so from your perspective and your members' perspective, this is not a good thing?
This is a terrible thing. It's during the interview, and again, I spoke to it in my opening statement about human interaction. That's where we ask follow-up questions. That's where we establish whether there's coaching, whether it's a legitimate claim. That's how those files are built so they can be dealt with properly. Later, that's where we gain that intelligence, and that's currently been lost, not to mention that about 10% never complete the forms through One Touch. So you figure with about 100,000 claimants a year, that's about 10,000 people who are allowed into Canada who they disappear. Then it's our inland officers then have to find them and remove them, so you're adding additional...
So out of 100,000, why are we taking 100,000? By the way, Canada is full. We can't take any more people. 100,000 refugee claimants, 10% of whom we have no idea who they are or where they went, right? This is madness, and this is not a mistake. This is not oversight. This is intentional, right? It's like, well, we don't have enough actual agents to rubber stamp every single claim. So, but we still need to build this underclass that will vote for us forever. So, yeah, I guess just have this one touch thing, I guess, and who cares? We just need a permanent underclass that will vote for us forever. So let them all in. Same in every Western country, weirdly. Same thing. That's what the left wants to do in every single country. Type a bid into an app, no human interview, and just like that, welcome to Canada. This is insane. Cue the liberals who will call everyone who questions this a racist. Well, they will, but the magic spell is breaking. I think in like the US and the UK, I think the magic spell is already broken. The incantation of that you're the ist or the phobe or whatever. In Canada, it's still it's breaking. It's not broken yet. But they'll keep using it ad nauseum on everything, obviously, totally unreasonably and irrationally, because as long as it has any effect, they'll keep doing it, of course, because there's no actual defense of this, right? This is just actual lunacy. This is madness. This is the result of infinite feelings and empathy politics. This is it. Although what's underneath it is actually not even that. It's just very cynical. It's a very cynical attempt to just import a permanent underclass that will vote for left-wing politicians forever. That's how I see it. Let's see. All right. What do we got next? Well, we're going to jump to some UK stuff on this next one. Let's see what's going on. First off, before we get there, anybody watching on YouTube, please go to Radio Baloney News, the new Radio Baloney channel. That's where you're going to get all the world news, US news, the meme reviews, woke mind virus stuff. There's like Joe Rogan there and all kinds of fun stuff here. Elon Musk, AI. That's all going to be on Radio Baloney News. It will not be on the channel you're watching now. This is just live streams and Canadian news now. Everything else has been moved over to Radio Baloney News. Please subscribe. The algorithm ain't going to help me out, so I'm really relying on you guys. Thank you very much. Back to the Fence Show. Let's see. As he says, they read 1984 as a manual, not a warning. 100% true. JDL, how you doing? Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling better. JDL also made a wonderful point here. Says, hit the like button. Hit the like button. That's so important. That's so salient in these times. Hit that like button, everybody. Get your free good karma right now. All right. Let's see. Macross says, hey, if I get caught illegally in Canada, do I get a free flight back home? No, you get free housing and thousands of dollars. And you can get your teeth done as well while you're here. Let's see. And then you just stay forever. Let's see. All right. Let's move on. What do we got going on? Yeah, okay, so here's some UK stuff. Let's check this out. Katie Hopkins, walking in London town and still not stabbed. It's been 3 whole minutes. Jolly well done to the nipple height Muslim mayor of Mayhem. So let's take a look.
Well done, Sadiq Khan.
Hold on. So she's talking about Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan.
Do you know, my darlings, I'm here in good old London town. And I've still got my mobile phone. I've been on public transport and I've not been stabbed with a machete. And as things stand, I still have my bag. I know, it's been 3 minutes and I'm still alive. Well done, Sadiq Khan.
JDL says, I'm going to Canada. Well, I mean, I think actually refugees get better medical care. I think they get rushed through here. I know they get like free dental. I don't get free dental. It costs a freaking fortune to get anything done for me and for most Canadians. But if you just got here 5 minutes ago, straight in you go. In you go. All right, let's get down to the next one. We got another one from her. So, Katie Hopkins, Bet Shit Bonkers Britain 2026. Let's take a look. I think I was going to play this one before and we didn't get to it, but let's show it now.
Breaking news on a gloriously sunny day here in batshit bonkers Britain. First up, Angela Rayner and her ginger growler, rawr, is going to run to be Prime Minister of Great Britain. She has found out that Keir Starmer is about as popular as fecal bacteria on a surf beach and figures it is her time to shine. Despite the fact that she was kicked out for tax fraud, still owes £40,000 of tax to the government. And I would say that at least we'll get a jolly good laugh out of the wardrobe that she chooses for her run. In other news, the good people of Crowborough out protesting against 600 illegals, the Rubber Dinghy Massive Brigade, being dumped in their little town in a military barracks. The thing is, many of these people in Crowborough moved out of London to escape multiculturalism and now finds multiculturalism being dumped on their doorstep. The government doesn't care. All it wants to do is get rid of the line item that's labelled hotel costs for illegals. And Shabana Mahmood is just tampering with the edges of asylum policy. What this country needs is a change of government, and it needs it right about now. And finally, Michael Obama, Michelle, says that white people are to blame for the fact that she has shit hair and can't swim. I mean, Michael, come on, bird. I can't model leggings because of my mighty flange. Also, I'm shit at swimming and I've got fairly shit hair, but at no point have I tried to blame black people for that. I just have to own my own shit. Anyway, my darlings, that's it for today. Batshit Bonkers Britain. P.S. Katie Hopkins, Free Range 2026. Tickets are now on sale.
Yeah, leftists absolutely hate her. Absolutely. The mainstream media hates her too. Absolutely hates her. I find her very, very amusing, personally. Extremely amusing. I wanted to comment on something, but I forgot what it was. Let's go back a little bit. What was she talking about? Oh, talking about how they... So one thing they do, which is really, really horrible and unethical in the UK, is that they'll find a little... Because they're just trying to... They've got all these people showing up on boats every day, right? It's like thousands of them a month. And they're trying to find places for them, and they like to get them out of the way, actually. So what they'll do is they will send them to some little village, some little town. So you'll have a little town where people, some little beautiful little English town in the countryside, and they'll send, if there's like an abandoned, an old military base or something, they'll reno it. So they'll send, 500, 600 of these people who just showed up from foreign countries, so they have no idea who they are because they'll throw their ID away, and they'll just put them up or in hotels in these little like resort villages where people, it might be like a town of 800 people or 500 people, and all of a sudden they'll have an equal number of just foreign strangers there. And by the way, it never goes well because these people don't know what English culture is and what English people are like, or that you're not allowed to just sexually assault women. Because in the countries they're coming from, you can. So people are terrified. They're scared of letting their kids out by themselves, and for good reason. It's such a deeply immoral thing for a government to do. And they're trying to hide the problem, right? And this is all at huge cost to those same people, to the taxpayers in the UK. Those same people in those towns have to pay for this invasion. It's genuinely, I mean, that's what a government that hates its people, that's what they would do. I mean, at the very least, just total indifference to their well-being. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Here's how much they hate their own people. Lucy Connolly, imprisoned for tweets, has her entire life controlled by the British government. She wants to go anywhere. There is more than 50 people she has to get approval by the authorities. So she was imprisoned for an offensive tweet after children were murdered by a terrorist. Right? So they threw her in prison for her tweets because that was the real crime, right? Her tweets were the real crime there. Let's take a look.
You're banned from traveling. You're staying in the UK. That, to me, seems pretty authoritarian. I mean, how did you feel? Does it feel like you're still being controlled by the state?
Oh, massively. You know, like, I have to go to probation every week. I'm a MAPA level 3. I don't know if you know what that means, but sex offenders and terrorists get put on MAPA level 3. It's another way of, so you're not just what's the word, like controlled and watched by probation. It's police. They have a police department. They have a press department. There's like a group. It stands for multi-agency public protection. Basically, so you've got, so I'm not just answerable to probation. I'm what they call a MAPA, which is insane given, but they use the excuse of, well, it's because of the press interest, you're high profile with the press, so therefore, so I have to ask them permission to do everything. So if I want to go anywhere where there's more than 50 people, I have to seek probation's permission and get that signed off. If I want to attend like a conference, or so for example, I'm going tomorrow to Parliament to
so they consider her in the same category of danger to the public as actual, real, serious criminals. So this is how you know your government hates you, right? When talking about real crime is the crime. It's all, I mean, this is basic Marxist stuff, right? BBC has always been a joke. So this is actually an old clip here. Here's Chief Correspondent Jeremy Bowen pretending to be under Russian attack when an elderly Ukrainian lady walking her dog stops to make sure he's okay. She probably thought he had a heart attack. Oh, the BBC. You don't hate the mainstream media enough.
Amount of incoming fire coming into this now. Artillery fire. There are loads of civilians around. Families coming out. There's a lady there with her dog following on.
Is this the point where he started to feel really silly?
This is the edge of the town that the Russians have got.
Oh my God, that's amount of income. That is so funny, but it's just, yeah. Thing is, you don't even go, oh, wow, that's crazy. You just go, oh, yeah, that's what they do. Yeah, that's what they like to do. All right. Let's move on. Let's go back to the chat for a second. Back to the Fence show. Let's see. Let your light shine over on YouTube. How you doing? And just to let you know, the chat you see on the screen, it's pretty much all Rumble chat. So we have a great community, awesome chat community over on Rumble. It hasn't really happened over on YouTube. But we have a great community over on Rumble. So just to let you know, you can go over there and introduce yourself, and everybody's super cool. Let's see. JDL says, my doctor retired, having to start over, having to go through the medical system. Well, in Canada, there's a lot of doctors who become Uber drivers because they can. And we're not just talking about like they got a witch doctor license in Haiti, right? Like from like the UK, who, yeah, they can't work here as doctors. So they're coming from places, where there's high medical standards. And still, and it really doesn't make any sense. But I mean, what does in Canada these days? Let's see. Izzy says her mighty flange. I love her. She's great. Let's see. McCross says, why would I learn English? I'm never going to England. Well, there you go. You don't have to. Although with a lot of those dialects there, you probably wouldn't understand a lot of people. Let's see. Let Your Light Shine says the punishment is the crime. Yes, and that's the whole story of Tommy Robinson. Well, the process is the punishment a lot of the time, but the punishment against her is the crime here. Yes, I agree. And you have Keir Starmer sitting there with Trump talking about how we're very proud of our freedom of speech. No, you're not. You hate it. He hates it, obviously. All right. What do we got now? So we're going to do a bit of a dig into this. So Danielle Smith posted this. New Zealand has now stopped the use of puberty blockers on minors, acknowledging the lack of credible evidence and the growing concerns over long-term harm. They've joined Alberta, the United Kingdom, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and the United States in taking these kinds of important steps to protect children. This is the right direction, and Alberta applauds their decision. So the dominoes are starting to fall. Now, Danielle Smith is the premier of Alberta. I think she's far and away the best premier in Canada. We need more like her. I think at some point she'd be an excellent leader of the federal Conservative Party. Although, by that time Alberta might be its own. By that time, Alberta might be its own country. But in any case, she's doing a great job right now. And Danielle Smith passed legislation in Alberta to stop so-called medical professionals from doing gender experiments on children. And that's what they are. They euphemistically call it gender-affirming care. And as with everything from the left, it means the opposite of what it actually is. It's actually the real conversion therapy, because you're trying to turn a child into a rough facsimile of something they can never actually be. But let's take a look at this from Danielle Smith again. In late 2024, Alberta's government passed legislation to preserve the choices of children and youth, improve access to health services, and protect children, families, and parental involvement in the education system. Since passing the legislation, 3 lawsuits have been filed by activist organizations, with one injunction already in place. So Canada is full. Our judicial system in Canada is full of woke activists, unfortunately. Alberta's government has been clear all along. We are prepared to use every legal and constitutional tool available to protect the health and well-being of children. If passed, Bill 9, the Protecting Alberta's Children Statutes Amendment Act, will invoke the notwithstanding clause too. So the notwithstanding clause is a way to just get around activist judges, essentially. And it's a part of the Canadian Constitution, so it's 100% constitutional. Preserve the future choices of children and youth. So, not sterilizing them, for instance. Strengthen the role of parents as a child's primary caregiver. Ensure fairness and safety in amateur competitive sports. So, no men and women's sports, right? Strengthen the role of parents as a child's primary caregiver. That means the school can't secretly trans your kids. Let's take a look here. And she's willing to use the notwithstanding clause, and good for her. This is going to be remembered. The so-called gender-affirming care is going to be remembered as something unbelievably barbaric and insane. Just frankly insane. People will look back on it as that, because it is. And we're going to get into the claims of evidence, by the way. But let's Let's take a
Today,
look.
our government is introducing Bill 9. Bill 9 will invoke the Canadian Charter's notwithstanding clause to amend and uphold 3 critical pieces of legislation without further court delay or uncertainty. We have a responsibility to provide clarity, a responsibility to protect all children and youth, and a responsibility to give parents, not institutions or courts, the primary role in life-changing decisions about their children. This government does not turn to the notwithstanding clause unless the stakes warrant it. And in this case, the stakes could not be higher. This legislation is not about denying care. We cannot and will not take the risk of a child undergoing medical, hormonal, or surgical interventions that could permanently limit or eliminate the choices they may want to make as an adult. We want every young Albertan to receive the mental health supports, the compassion, and the guidance that they need at home, at school, and in their communities. Before I wrap up, I do want to speak directly to young Albertans who are navigating what their identity means through the already difficult process of growing up. You deserve dignity, understanding, and support. You belong in Alberta. We firmly believe that. We also believe it's our duty to protect you. This legislation is about your future. So when the time comes, you have every opportunity to make the adult decisions that are rightfully yours and yours alone.
Yeah, we need more people like this with this kind of courage who just can just speak the plain truth, even if the media is attacking her relentlessly over this with all of their fake science. And we're going to get into that. But she's being attacked relentlessly. And we need more people that are willing to just stand up to it. You know, more people who just recognize that a society that is willing to fall so low as to conduct what are effectively just medical experiments on children for the sake of ideology, because somebody redefined a word into an infinite series of abstractions. A country that is willing to do that has demonstrated that it has no decency and no sanity, and it will fall. So we need more people like Danielle Smith, more people that are willing to just face down the kind of relentless media attacks and the relentless activist attacks and the constant lies that come from both. There's another, we've got more on Danielle Smith. Remind me to come back to that. But to back up what I'm saying, let's go to CTV News. So here's what Danielle Smith was talking about. Hold on. New Zealand halts new puberty blockers for young transgender people. So if they're already on them, they can keep taking them, but they're not going to put any more children on them. New Zealand said on Wednesday it was banning new prescriptions of puberty-blocking drugs for young transgender people. See, this is the constant framing and just the inherent bias in modern journalism in Canada. Young transgender people, the whole point of this is that you don't know that, right? They're going on the assumption, they are implying here that such a thing actually exists. In a move that critics warned could worsen the mental health of those affected. So right off the bat, we have the negative framing. Well, who are the critics, by the way? Critics warned could worsen the mental health of those affected. Well, thanks for the unbiased reporting here, CTV News. The step comes amid growing global debate about the number of adolescents seeking to change gender, dividing those concerned about hastiness in prescribing such medications and those worried about access to remedies they deem life-saving. Remedies. These puberty blockers are extremely powerful drugs, even when used in what, in the clinical cases before the whole social contagion of, of this redefinition of gender came about. I believe when it was used, the puberty blockers like Lupron were used for precocious puberty. That's what they were used for before. So for children who were undergoing early puberty, And there's a whole host of medical issues along with this. So they would put them on these drugs until they reach the age where they should be naturally going through puberty. What the gender mad scientists are doing is that they're putting them on these drugs when they're supposed to be going through puberty. It's actually quite different, but these are very powerful drugs. And even for the precocious puberty, there are thousands of cases of adverse reactions, serious ones. So these are not, it's not just, these are serious drugs, right? And with serious consequences. Let's see. The decision resulted from a health ministry finding of a lack of high-quality evidence that demonstrates the benefits or risks, Brown added in a statement. Lack of high-quality evidence. We're going to get into that. Okay, so who else has said that there is a lack of high-quality evidence? Well, let's see. So you have Denmark. By the way, it's all the wokest countries, right, have taken a step back from this stuff and changed their policies around this once they've looked at their own data and realized that, oh, wait a second, this actually isn't backed up by science at all. In fact, science tends to say the opposite. Denmark joins the list of countries that have sharply restricted youth gender transitions. Why is that? Let's see. The rationale for this shift was explained in a recent publication in the Journal of Danish Medical Association. The authors can hardly be accused of being armchair critics. They are the very clinicians responsible for assessing youth and approving them for gender transitions in Denmark. Realizing that their well-meaning intentions were based on insufficient evidence and seeing the growing evidence of harm, they sharply reversed course. Today, only 6% of the referrals are approved for hormonal transition, and no minors are allowed to transition surgically. So, on one hand, you think, well, if these clinicians are, principled enough and sane enough to recognize that they were actually harming children, how were they ever delusional enough to think that, the cure for teenage depression is permanently medicalizing them? But in any case, you have to give them credit. They saw the data and went, yeah, this is actually really bad. This is not what we thought it was. Sweden, like the that's progressive heaven. That's progressive Shangri-La. Sweden puts brakes on treatments for trans minors. Sweden. The uncertain state of knowledge calls for caution, Board Department Head Thomas Linden said in a statement in December. The uncertain state of knowledge. This is Sweden. Okay? It had to be pretty bad if even Sweden went, hold on, this is not good. Let's see. Here's from the UK government, Gov UK. Ban on puberty blockers to be made indefinite on experts' advice. This is from 2024. Puberty blockers for the treatment of gender incongruence and or gender dysphoria in under 18s were banned temporarily in May 2024 after the CAS review found there was insufficient evidence to show they were safe. They've since been made permanently. They've since been banned permanently. But why? CAS review found there was insufficient evidence to show they were safe. Now, it's careful language because what it actually showed is that it's worse than not safe. It's actively causing harm. Here's from U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services today published Treatment for Pediatric Gender Dysphoria, Review of Evidence and Best Practices. Its peer-reviewed study of the medical dangers posed to children from attempts to change their biological sex, which obviously you can't do. That's impossible. The report released through the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health finds that the harms from self-rejecting procedures, including puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and surgical operations, are significant, long-term, and too often ignored or inadequately tracked. What we're getting at here is it's not real science. This stuff isn't actually backed up by science as the activists claim that it is. The American Medical Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics peddled the lie that chemical and surgical sex-rejecting procedures could be good for children. I mean, it's so obviously insane, right? Like, it's just, you don't need to be an expert. There are some things that are just on their face so absurd that you don't need to be an expert. Just any person on the street could tell you better than the American Medical Association or the American Academy of Pediatrics or the Endocrine Society, whatever. Anyway, this is according to Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. They betrayed their oath to do no harm, and their so-called gender-affirming care has inflicted lasting physical and psychological damage on vulnerable young people. This is not medicine, it's malpractice. And there's a reason you never see detransitioners like Chloe Cole on ABC News or CNN or MSNBC. And, you know, the New York Times isn't going to send out a reporter to interview them and tell their story. There's a reason for that. Because they can describe the ugly truth of it. So back to the original tweet here. Hold on. So back to the original tweet here from Danielle Smith. New Zealand has now stopped the use of puberty blockers on minors, acknowledging the lack of credible evidence and the growing concerns over long-term harm. So what you have is something that is just purely ideological. And you can criticize Danielle Smith. Say she's an ideologue. Are you going to criticize Sweden? Are you going to say Sweden is far right now? Right? Are you going to criticize Denmark? Are you going to say they're far right now? It's just reality. Again, in 10 years, I think there'll be very few people who will admit to having actually supported this total lunacy. I mean, it's barbarism. Right? This is Mengele level stuff. And we haven't even gotten to the to WPATH, the World Professional Association of Transgender Health, and the leaks that came out that prove that this authority above all the other authorities, the authority that the other authorities like the Endocrine Society, the American Medical Association appeal to, right? They use that to wash themselves of any guilt or complicity in these crimes. And that's what they are. They're crimes against humanity. We're not even getting into this, but clearly the dominoes are starting to fall into place now. And there's going to be a lot of people who are throwing around slurs and, accusing people of being an ist and a phobe and blah, 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 blah. A lot of people that are doing that now that ain't going to be doing it in 10 years. Because the dominoes are falling and sanity is beginning to assert itself. In fact, it's well on its way. I mean, Danielle Smith is really the only voice against this. Pierre Poilievre has spoken strongly about it as well, but Danielle Smith has taken the lead on this. And again, I have an enormous admiration for Danielle Smith. I think she's the best premier in Canada by a mile. And yeah, I think that at some point, if Alberta just doesn't become its own country, she'd be a great prime minister, in my opinion. We need more. Like Dallas Brody in BC, Daniel Smith, we need more of them. All right. And we're not quite done with Danielle Smith yet. So if this wasn't all good enough, there's more. Danielle Smith, Alberta will continue being a place where free speech is defended. So they're passing legislation, a law there. They're calling it the Jordan Peterson law. And you'll remember he went through that long inquisition from the Ontario College of Psychologists for wrongthink. Let's take a look at what Danielle Smith says.
Today, we are introducing Bill 13, the Regulated Professions Neutrality Act. This is common sense legislation that would recognize that everyone should have the right to express their personal views freely. No professional should fear losing their license, their reputation, or their livelihood because of a personal opinion, a social media post, an interview, or open dialogue outside of working hours. These changes come after one of the most notable cases of professional regulators punishing an individual for comments made outside of a professional setting, and that is Dr. Jordan Peterson. Dr. Peterson was sanctioned and ordered to undertake a so-called re-education program in order to maintain his credentials for statements he had made outside of a clinical psychology setting. Similar notable cases have involved nurses, doctors, and teachers that have been punished, sanctioned, or have had their... Today we are introducing...
Well, there's Amy Ham in British Columbia, who was put through a years-long inquisition as well. Let's... watch this again. Hold on.
Today, we are introducing Bill 13, the Regulated Professions Neutrality Act. This is common sense legislation that would recognize that everyone should have the right to express their personal views freely. No professional should fear losing their license, their reputation, or their livelihood because of a personal opinion, a social media post, an interview, or open dialogue outside of working hours. These changes come after one of the most notable cases of professional regulators punishing an individual for comments made outside of a professional setting, and that is Dr. Jordan Peterson. Dr. Peterson was sanctioned and ordered to undertake a so-called re-education program in order to maintain his credentials for statements he had made outside of a clinical psychology setting. Similar notable cases have involved nurses, doctors, and teachers that have been punished, sanctioned, or have had their licenses threatened for comments that they have made on social media, at protests, or even at meetings of local city councils. We looked at these cases and asked an important question. Are regulators still focused on public safety and professional competence, or are some of them overstepping to enforce ideological conformity and to silence public discourse? The bill aims to protect expressive off-duty conduct. It draws a clear distinction that regulators are responsible for competence and ethics, not policing beliefs or personal expression that has no bearing on a person's ability to do their professional practice. No one cherishes their freedoms like Albertans do. This is a sentiment that we hear often and something that our government takes seriously. Our aim is to uphold professionals' rights and freedoms while continuing to protect the public interest so that both public confidence and professional integrity are maintained. We want to ensure that professional regulatory bodies keep their focus on areas within their scope, on members' actions that affect their professional competence and ethics, because everyone has the right to express themselves and to share their views and to have their voice heard in our society.
So this is just so fortifying, right? Just to have a Canadian politician stand up and champion sanity so forthrightly, just without equivocation. It is just, it's like cathartic, it's edifying, it's just everything good. Everything good, actually, about what Canada used to be. And of course, leftists will immediately go into fetal position and start shaking and crying and screeching when they hear this. It's so terrifying for them because they think that freedom is fascism or something. I don't know. It's hard to even understand what they mean anymore. But this is hope. Right now, this is hope in Canada. Right? I really hope that Pierre Poilievre is listening to her and draws further strength from this, and in a way is almost kind of shamed in a sense that, you know, I think I'd like Pierre Poilievre. I intend to vote for Pierre Poilievre the next opportunity I get. I think he's been more forthright since that election, and I think he's been much better, actually. but this is really where it's at, you know? This is really where it's at. You can't equivocate. You can't have like some implicit apology just for talking sanity, right? No, it's just she is just comfortable with reality, and you're just going to have to accept it. That's her approach. That's the right approach. All right, so limit professional regulatory bodies from disciplining professionals for expressive off-duty conduct. Yes, there we go. Except in specific circumstances such as threats of physical violence or a criminal conviction. Okay. Restrict mandatory training unrelated to competence or ethics, such as diversity, equity, and inclusion training. So DEI, which is madness, it is divisive and unfair, deeply unfair and immoral. Restrict mandatory training unrelated to competence or ethics. I hope by restricted means you can't do it. Create principles of neutrality that prohibit professional regulatory bodies from assigning value, blame, or different treatment to individuals based on personally held views or political beliefs. Right out the window. It's got to go straight into the trash. Now, it's going to be very difficult to actually enforce this because the institutions, including in Alberta, which is the most conservative province in Canada, but even in Alberta, the institutions are just plagued with the tendrils of this, Marxist, woke, DEI, radical progressivism. So it's going to be difficult. But look, she's pretty strong, and I wouldn't count her out on this. It's just this is what we've wanted. This is what we've wanted. The sane people in Canada have wanted this. Good. Here, Sean Amato posted this. Alberta's premier was asked Thursday what role, if any, she sees for DEI in society. Well, let's take a look.
Let's be frank, DEI is a very highly charged ideological doctrine that teaches a particular perspective about colonialism and white settlement. And you have to ask the question, what are we trying to get to with that? Are we trying to get to a point where we have fairness in hiring and a diversity of people who are hired into positions, or are we trying to socially engineer some kind of narrative? So I think that it's pretty clear that there's a difference between those two things, and we certainly support merit-based hiring and making sure that we're removing any barriers. Let's be frank, DEI.
Yeah, the goal is the destruction of the old to make room for the new. And what is the new? The new is a Marxist-Leninist country and nothing less, because every single person who pushes this stuff is a Marxist, is sympathetic to Marxism at least, even if they don't know why they believe the things that they do. It is fundamentally Marxist. It's oppressed and oppressor. Everything's a zero-sum game. That's the ultimate goal. Even if, the useful idiots don't know that. That's what they're working towards. They're working towards bread lines. All right. So there we go. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do memes next, but let's go back to the Fence show for a second. Let's get back to the chat. Maybe I'll do another ad read. That'd be super fun. Now, by the way, everybody, anybody on YouTube, subscribe to the new channel, Radio Baloney News on YouTube. Everybody else, don't worry about it. Rumble, don't worry about it. But subscribe to the new channel. That's all the U.S. news, world news, meme reviews, all that kind of stuff. You got to get it there from now on. It's the featured channel on the homepage. All right. Let's see. What are we going to do now? Everybody loves a Rumble Premium ad. Everybody loves it. All right. Let's do this one. This is a beautiful ad. Big, beautiful ad. Let's do it. You're not going to want to miss this, people. Let's go. Looking for smarter ways to browse and enjoy your favorite content without ads? I know I am. Get the Perplexity Pro bundle with Rumble Premium for just $19.99 a month when you sign up before December 31st. Normally a $29.99 value. The commies are going to be furious. With Rumble Premium, you get an ad-free, and on my channel, at least a communism-free, viewing experience across all your devices and access to exclusive on this channel anti-communist materials and premium content. No interruptions. Communism? Is there any of that? Not on my channel. Just the videos and streams you love anytime, anywhere. And that's really the best way, anytime, anywhere, isn't it? Plus, Perplexity Pro boosts your productivity with unlimited research, unlimited anti-communist materials on Radio Baloney, unlimited uploads, exclusive member perks, and access to the latest and most advanced AI models for faster, smarter answers every single day. Save over 30% on this powerful bundle. Head to rumble.com/premium. That's rumble.com/premium before December 31st to sign up and unlock your premium experience. Well, you're not some kind of dirty commie, are you? I love it. I love that ad. It's my favorite ad. It's a beautiful ad. I got to do it justice. I got to put maximum effort into that ad because it's a beautiful ad. I can see it was written with care, and I read it with care. I'm here to deliver, folks. I'm not here to mail it in. I'm here to really deliver. I give it everything. Let's see. Now what's happening? What are you guys talking about? McCross says Alberta is the place we ought to be, so we loaded up the truck to move to Central Kennedy. Kennedy, it's a song. Let's see. Rosie says, is it cathartic? How? Sure, she speaks hope, but how have we let free speech be stolen? Well, it's cathartic in that it's cathartic after all of the insane leftism and the attacks on just basic human dignity in Canada, right? The left thinks they're fighting for human dignity. I disagree. I think they're deeply anti-human. I think DEI is deeply anti-human, and I think Marxism is deeply anti-human. But it's just, yeah, it's cathartic in that it's just like a relief. Like, oh, finally some common sense. Let's see. Jack, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Jack says, this is Mandarin to leftards. Well, yeah, I think he's talking about Danielle Smith there. Let's see. Nevada says, Smith is better than all the others combined. Yeah, I 100% agree. Let's see what else is going on here. I got to go back a little bit. Let's see. Going way back in the chat. You guys have been busy. All right, let's check it out. McCross says it's not experiments, Richie. It's about sterilization. You're talking about the so-called gender affirming care for minors. If there's ever a euphemism, that's it. Well, you know, sterilization. I don't think that's the end goal. I think it is just an ideological thing, and obviously they're perfectly happy sterilizing everybody, right? McCross says they want to wipe out a generation so they can move in the minions. I think it's just a byproduct that they're happily, they're pleasantly surprised by. That's JDL says Mengele was ahead of his time. I don't think that's an outrageous comparison at all. I think it's quite appropriate. Spambot says doctors that mutilated the reproductive organs of children should face the same judgment applied to the Nazis after the Second World War for the medical testing they did on prisoners. when you hear the stories of the detransitioners and how their lives have been destroyed by these unbelievably unethical healthcare practitioners, yeah, I mean, Jordan Peterson has said many times he thinks they should be put in prison, and they don't have the defense of, well, they're just going off the science. No, you weren't. Science was never the science. The dominoes are falling now. Denmark, Sweden, UK, US, Alberta. Yeah, it's just awful. Jack says, if you're a cork, you are made for a bottle. Life is not complicated. Well, the thing is that it's all based on this abstraction, right? It's all based on just an abstraction. The idea that, well, it's also, it's a series of incoherent abstractions. So on one hand, gender, this redefinition of gender, is everybody's a blank slate, just born a blank slate. The doctor looks at the newborn baby. Who knows what it is? Who knows? I guess we won't be able to tell until it's 5, and the kindergarten teacher will tell us, right? But also, once you decide that, you're definitely it, and you're definitely the opposite gender, even though that makes no sense. You can never actually be that. The whole thing is completely just mad. Like, so I don't accept this idea that I don't accept the excuse that, well, I was just following the WPATH standards of care. No, it is gross negligence to not interrogate the so-called evidence before you ruin a child's life. Lightshine says, I fully agree. Well, that's good. That's because you're smart. Let's see. Macross says, I have the power. Well, I'm so happy for you. Let's see. JDL says, wait for the lawsuits in the future. Pardon me. The dominoes are falling quicker than I thought. But yeah, there are a lot of lawsuits that, of course, don't get reported about in the mainstream media, but it's going to end up being a tsunami of lawsuits that are going to bankrupt maybe bankrupt entire medical associations, right? They'll have to start new ones. But yeah, obviously, and I mean, the whole thing was just insane from the start. Macross says the damage is done. Let's see. Lightshine says, I'm against medications unless absolutely necessary. I ground myself daily, which is amazing. Yeah, well, we know that. Now, here's the thing. Part of the tragedy of like the modern West is that we built these amazing institutions and things like the pharmacy, Western medicine. Western medicine is unambiguously been like incredible for human well-being. It just has. I mean, we live twice as long as we did a couple hundred years ago. But everything can get corrupted at some point. And we know that, you have doctors that are getting bonuses for prescribing SSRIs, antidepressants, other various medications, right? We know that there's corruption that's crept in. We know that the institutions have been infected by a woke ideology, by the mind virus, and it no longer are fit for purpose anymore. As far as I'm concerned, if the American Medical Association, if the Endocrine Society are pretending that so-called gender-affirming care is grounded in science, it's no longer fit for purpose at that point, because it's an utter and total absurdity. And that's kind of the tragedy. Like, the word expert don't mean what it used to with COVID, right? They just kept trotting out the experts with, well, what is it now? So it was global warming, and then, there's some problems with it not warming enough. So then it had to be climate change. They tried global boiling. They keep trying the name. They keep changing the names. But they keep trotting out these experts, and they're experts at repeating the party line, and that seems to be about it, right? So unfortunately, we have a very healthy skepticism of institutions that we shouldn't have to. They should just function the way they're supposed to, but unfortunately, they're not. They no longer do, which is a tragedy for the Western world, by the way. I think this is an awful thing. But yeah, so you can't just assume at this point that the medication your doctor is telling you to take, that he's not getting some sort of kickback. He's not getting a commission, which is really unfortunate. So yeah, best to avoid medications if you can. And of course, it's not that Western civilization is this awful thing, right? Like, no, I mean, it's actually this doubled lifespans, right? But you do have to take more caution than you really should have to, in my opinion. If there were, if you did not have the corruption. McCross says it's also driving up medical care. That's why these countries have cut it out. I mean, that's maybe, I don't know. I think it's just simply the data, like Sweden just simply went over their data. They were, I think, the first country in on the transitioning children thing. And it was just, they had a review and they went through and went, yeah, this doesn't make sense. The data doesn't support what the claims are. But of course, pharmaceutical companies love it because it's a lifelong patient, right? A lifelong customer. Let's see. McCross says once these people start these regimes, they are constantly going to need medical interventions. It's lifelong medicalization because they're going to have problems like osteoporosis and the whole suite of things. Let's see. Nevada got number 11 on the like button. Well, let's say that's 1.08. Good karmas for you, my friend. Jack says news and propaganda are two very different things. There's a lot of lying clams in the game. See what I did there? I said clams instead of, let's see. But yeah, it's true. So I think I'm going to have to skip down here because there's way too much for me to go through. And what are we already 2 hours and 10 minutes in? Yikes. All right, I'm going to skip down. Let's see. Oh, wait a second. I think we got the reviews for that last ad read. Okay, we got to do that. Let's see. Rosie says Rumble Premium ad, Commie Hate, 10.2 out of 10. I believe that's the most you can get out of 10. Across, Rumble 10 out of 10. Commie Hate, fantastic. You guys love the Commie Hate. Raider Shimmer says, do you really think you can make up with no Commie Hate on the other ads by lumping it all? I am in this one to buy us off. Yes, I can. He says, yes, you can. Great ad read and anti-commie sentiment, 10 out of 10, which is almost the most you can get out of 10. Thank you so much. Thing is, I know you guys love Commie Hate. That's the thing. That's my secret. Let's see. It looks like Spambot's got a link for me here. Let's check that out. Hold on. Where? Okay. Spambot. We got a link. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Getting the links racked up like a pro. Let's see. Concerned Canadian said the USA assessment of Canada that is shared by so many other countries. Let's see. The U.S. announced plans to reclassify Canada as a high-risk country, warning that economic chaos, collapsing institutions, and government confusion have reached levels we normally associate with countries needing UN supervision. This is, I think, from the satire site. So I saw this earlier, actually. This is actually published by a satire site. And so this guy has published this he's not retweeting it. He's publishing it as like this, which is maybe to hide that so people will think it's real, but it's actually not real. A Homeland Security official put it bluntly: Canada used to be the boring neighbor. Now it's the neighbor setting its own garage on fire and insisting it's fine. U.S. analysts say the move is meant to protect America from a potential wave of Canadians fleeing south for stable prices, basic competence, and a dollar that doesn't require emotional support. I mean, the thing is that this is all actually totally believable, right? That's the thing. Ottawa dismissed the concerns as misinterpretations, which U.S. officials cited as further evidence of weak governance. So, I mean, the thing is, that's all totally plausible. That's probably true, but not a real post. It's satire. Yeah, although it is believable. Sad state of affairs we found ourselves in. That's the thing, is it's like we've gotten to the point where this satire is totally plausible. Like, it wouldn't be a shock if it was real, right? And we've heard things. And also, the reason why it seems so real and so plausible is because it's kind of echoing things we really have heard from the United States, from different officials. So, but it's a testament to the sad state of the country, you know? Let's see. Oh, Rosie, let's not even get on thalidomide. I mean, that is so genuinely horrible. Yeah, horrible birth defects. Let's see. Nevada says, I thought it was here in the 60s. And I don't think it ever was in the States. Yeah, I think Rosie's right about that. Let's see. All right. All right. Okay, we'll do one more link there, Spambot. And then we got to keep going with the news. So let's take a look. Spambot's always got good links for us. So let's take a look at this one. Paste. Let's see. This is from Alberta Memes. Top 10 countries with the largest oil reserves: Venezuela, Saudi Arabia, Alberta, Iran, Iraq, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Russia, Libya, Nigeria. Yeah, I mean, these are all places with lots and lots of oil. Lots and lots of oil. We'll see what happens with Carney and the pipelines. I'm guessing. I mean, there's some talk now about there was a meeting with Scott Moe and Danielle Smith and Carney about a pipeline, and British Columbia Premier Eby was not invited. I don't expect it to go anywhere, quite frankly. Let's see. Let's see. All right, we're still talking about. You guys can talk about thalidomide in the chat. I'm not going there. Let's see. Spambot, I got links from the direct messages. So they're in the final tab for the evening. So they're coming up. Let's see. Rosie says Rumble merch sticker meal. Well, there's a link in the there's a link in the description of all the videos to merch, but nobody ever buys it. So I don't know. Let's see. Radio Streamer says, I just had some flavored water from Iceland the other day. It was okay, but no Greenland. You could not taste any dead bird in the water at all. Oh, yuck. No dead bird in the water? Fermented bird adds flavor to the water table of our land. It's kind of an inside joke on the channel. Let's go to memes. Planet of Memes. Socialism promises utopia, but delivers misery. Well, let's take a look. So, from Planet of Memes, the promises of socialism, the reality of socialism. There you go. This is from standing in bread lines for 16 hours a day. So that's what you get. That's what you get if you want to be a commie. You don't get that. Let's see. Planet of Memes again. Let's see. So true. So what's that? If a liberal from 1960 showed up today, if a liberal from today showed up in 1960, okay, so if a liberal from 1960 showed up today, they'd be considered conservative. So that's actually quite true, actually. The left has just run as far left as they can. It started about 10 years ago. They just started a mad dash over the cliff of leftist insanity. If a liberal from today showed up in 1960, they'd be considered an absolute lunatic. In fact, yeah, if AOC had a time machine and she traveled back to 1960, they'd probably just put her in a mental asylum, actually. Even if they bought the whole time traveling thing, they'd say, well, people are crazy in the future. This one's a nutcase. Let's see. I mean, we're going to take her in for treatment and some electroshock, and maybe she can be useful to society at some point in the future. I don't know, maybe like a bartender or something. Let's see. Christian memes and bums. Let's see. Fixed it. So there's Happy Holidays. She doesn't take any wokeness, Sydney Sweeney. She doesn't like it. Happy Holidays? Nah, she's not buying that. Merry Christmas? There we go. Now you got her. Now you're on the trolley. All right. Don't you want to make Sydney Sweeney happy? Everybody does. Let's see. The struggle is real. What's going on here? Go to sleep. Straight ahead. Stay up for no effing reason. Huh. My already tired body. Why is that? Why do I always do that? Stay up for no effing reason. This is like every night. Why? Why must I do that? When will I learn? Will I ever learn? No. All right. What else we got? Breaking news. Trudeau beats out Brussels sprouts. Breaking news. Well, let's make it bigger. Breaking news. Trudeau beats out Brussels sprouts as Canada's most hated vegetable. There we go. And now he is, I believe that he's Katy Perry's dance choreographer. I think. Still hate him. Katy Perry will learn to hate him as well. I think it's inevitable for any human. Let's see. What's this? Let's see. Imagine voting for the second plane. Let's take a look. Imagine voting for the second plane. Let's see. 9 years of Trudeau. There's Mark Carney. That is what happened, right? Mark Carney was sent in to finish us off. He was parachuted in from the EU to finish off Canada. This was posted by Marty Up North. Unacceptable fact checker. He asks, why do folks crushed by bad liberal policies of the last decade still continue to vote for more of the same? Stockholm Syndrome. The government is hurting me, but at least it cares. Maybe there's some Stockholm Syndrome. Let's say addiction to free stuff. Sure, breadlines suck, but someone else is paying. Well, I think that might be a part of it as well. This might be an all of the above thing. Emotional and ego-driven resistance. This is a lot of it. It's often emotionally easier to maintain a false belief than to confront the painful reality that you are wrong. Yeah, this is actually a proven effect, actually. This is a proven effect. Virtue high, it feels good to signal compassion while your wallet bleeds. Cognitive investment, in for a penny, in for a pound. Yeah, this goes along with the people just don't like to admit that they're wrong. Perception of weakness. Some people view changing their mind as a sign of weakness. Again, it's all tied into that kind of, you don't want to admit that you're wrong. But a lot of it is just simple brainwashing, conditioning. right? Just the constant drip, drip, drip of negative framing around anything that's not liberal, and the constant drip, drip, drip of positive framing around anything that is Liberal Party of Canada. And that is constant, and it's really is the foundation that all of these appalling policies have been built on. All right, let's continue. So what's going on here? Canada Roast published this. Approve new projects. Mark Carney's not really big on it. Reapprove already approved projects. Well, it is easier, and it gives the illusion that he's accomplishing something. So why not, I guess? It's not like Canada's being totally ruined. What's this? I like this one. Let's see. Paratrooper Brady posted this. Let's see. Hunter Biden has been here. How can you tell? This is crack. It's just all that crack that he left there. Well, that's how you know. That is how you can tell. Experienced trackers know that. Let's see. What's this one? Don't feed the bears. It might make them dependent and unable to feed themselves. You mean like welfare programs? It's probably exactly like that, I bet, isn't it? I bet it's exactly like that. Huh. Let's see. What was this one? I wish people would just get along, Snoopy. Communists aren't people, Charlie Brown. They said it. The madman said it. The madman said it. All right. I think all right, I think that's it for the memes. Let's move on. We got a bit more Canadian stuff, but we are gonna move on to some other stuff. Let's go to here for a second. Hold on. I gotta adjust my seat. I got like 12 seat cushions because I have to sit here for so long. So I have to readjust them. Let's see. What else we got going on? Streamer says memes hitting hard tonight. They are hitting hard. Brussels sprouts. See, I like Brussels sprouts. That's the thing. I like them. I like them better than Trudeau. That's for sure. Let's see. All right. Ottawa James says Carney is such a slime ball. Very perceptive, my friend. Very perceptive. Let's see. Nevada says those were good beans. I already bring you guys the best. Rosie says, welfare programs are not horrible. It is the corruption and grifting that make them horrible. Well, it's using them as a political weapon, as a political tool, and to essentially create permanent underclasses that will be dependent on it, which is intentionally done. And then so you have a permanent voting base. Rosie says 12 seat cushions. We have never seen you. Do you look like the angry elf in the movie Elf? It's not 12, it's like 3. And they're cheap ones, so they don't work very well. Spambot says, I like Brussels sprouts now. I hated them as a kid. I called them, oh God. Oh, God, Spambot. Oh, my God. I got to have to give this one a good rating. It's good. It's good, but it's, it's tough. He says, I like Brussels sprouts now. I hated them as a kid. I called them aborted cabbage. Aborted cabbage. See, I just went from liking Brussels sprouts to not liking them again. Because I agree, as a kid, I hated them. I like them now. With gravy, fantastic stuff. But now I don't know if we can ever look at them and not see them as aborted cabbage. Truly horrible. But I approve. Let's see. Let's see. Streamer says, wow, spam. I don't remember what the angry elf looked like in Elf. That's the problem, Rosie. Let's see. All right. Spambot's got the chat of the evening so far. Everybody, he's got the chat of the evening. Let's see. McCross says welfare should be charity projects, food banks run by churches, the people, and charity organizations encouraged by the government. Well, it used to be like that, didn't it? Okay, let's we just did memes. Let's go here. So Jeff Ballingall posted this. So new Canadian government regulations just dropped on streaming platforms, content creators, and they're insane. So we have talked about, actually many times, Bill C-11, the Online Streaming Act, which to me is a transparent effort by the Liberal government. Under the this was Trudeau legislation in a transparent effort to control what news Canadians can see. Now they claim it's Canadian content and blah blah blah. Really, what it's about is controlling the algorithms on social media. So YouTube, X, they want to control those. Instagram, whatever. They want to control the algorithms, and under the cover of promoting Canadian content, authentic Canadian content. And who's going to decide whether it's authentic Canadian content or not? The CRTC, right? The government regulating body. So bureaucrats are going to decide. And what do you think they're going to decide is real Canadian content? Do you think what I do is going to be real Canadian content, authentic Canadian content? I think probably not, right? They are going to be telling online platforms what to promote and what not to promote, what keywords to promote, to not promote. And I believe it's an attack on independent media in Canada. So platforms must identify CanCon using a 60-point system they can't verify. Yes, the government wants platforms and creators to verify they fit their definition of being Canadian. It's just dystopian. In fact, there's nothing could be more Liberal Party than this. CRTC forces public revenue and spending disclosures for all streamer. Annual production plus diversity reports required even for user-uploaded content. Platforms may need affidavits, legal proof for videos they didn't make. Strict Canadian copyright ownership rules disqualify many video shows. Framework lays groundwork for future algorithm quotas and streaming levies. Music videos are treated like full TV productions with complex scoring. In summary, this is government picking and choosing what it deems to be Canadian in 2025 in some Orwellian, Kafkaesque manner. It's inherently racist, totalitarian, and destroys a creator economy while favoring Canadian corporate dinosaurs. Well, yes. What do you think is going to be more? What do you think their definition of authentic Canadian content is? Probably somebody who moved here 5 minutes ago and isn't Canadian at all, but Canada's diversity, so that person's more Canadian than somebody whose family goes back 4 generations. Canada is all DEI at this point. If you're a Korean Canadian YouTuber who talks about K-pop, you'll have to provide proof you're Canadian and other details, or platforms will hide your content from algorithms. If you're a Canadian musician, you need to prove you're Canadian and your music is Canadian, or risk having your content hidden from Spotify. These regs create senseless bureaucracy that will stifle creativity and expression and will destroy the livelihood of countless creators and artists. It will turn Canada into some hermit kingdom of government-tilted media. Yes, always a new bureaucracy. Always a new... Bureaucracies are like heaven for the left, right? This is the highest state of being human, is bureaucracy. You can't aspire to be anything better than a bureaucrat in the leftist mind. Canada can and should be a cultural export superpower like South Korea. This move is more like North Korea, creepy, weird, and will make Canadians poor and less free, of course. Buried on a page 5 footnote, the rules are for streaming platforms and broadcasters, not individual creators for now. It's unclear if platforms will feel the need to promote government-prioritized content publications at the expense of individuals. Well, this is why they want to control the algorithm, right? How do you think Rebel News is going to fare with the CRTC telling YouTube what to do with their algorithm? Let's see. All right. Anyway, just more dystopian Canadian stuff. I think I might want to just scooch on from this. Let's go to this one right now. All right, this was posted by Marty up north, Unacceptable Fact Checker. He's saying this is not satire. I actually had to check a couple of sources just to make sure this really wasn't satire because it's so unbelievable. Parents should get babies' consent to change their diapers. This is coming from researchers, quote unquote researchers. According to the experts, it ensures that consent becomes a normal, everyday part of life. This is genuinely insane. In a sea of insanity, in an ocean of insanity, I mean, this really stands out, actually. Parents should get babies' consent to change their diapers. Winnipeg Sun. Let's see. Early childhood researchers in Australia suggest that parents should be asking babies for consent before changing their diapers. What a waste of human potential it is, and just money, because they're researchers. They're being paid to do this, right? What an absolute waste. This is of no value to any sane society. At the start of a nappy change, ensure your child knows what is happening. Study authors Catherine Bussey and Nicole Downs, a research fellow and lecturer, respectively, at Deakin University. Research fellow and a lecturer. So people actually have to listen to this? Yikes. Get down to their level and say, you need a nappy change, and then pause so they can take this in. This is just... Considering babies aren't verbal, why would anybody do this? Well, according to these experts, quote unquote experts, that word sure don't mean what it used to. According to the experts, it ensures that, quote, consent becomes a normal, everyday part of life. The researchers noted that diaper changes shouldn't just be a task that parents rush through and get done, and instead be used as time to help children learn about consent and how their bodies work. This is just madness. The babies, changing babies' diapers. There's a few nut bars that will actually start doing this, right? Like, just keep this up. Just keep this up all through your child's childhood, and you too can raise a perfectly narcissistic sociopath that will not only destroy your life, but just anybody else who's unfortunate enough to have to be around them. Man, the left has bad parenting ideas, don't they? You have to treat according to them, you just, for the rest of your life, you just have to treat your kid like that weird kid in the Twilight Zone movie, right? Yeah, it's total madness, obviously. Let's see. That's one of them there. Exactly what you thought. Let's see. Meet the Australian researchers. Meet the Australian researchers urging parents to ask their baby for consent before nappy changes, before diaper changes. Let's meet them. Let's meet them. Whoa! Exactly what you thought. Exactly what you thought. So, again, I ask, what is the point? Like, what is the benefit to Western civilization of having these people using resources that could be used for something else? I mean, these are researchers. Like, a researcher, like, couldn't that research money be better used somewhere else, like finding a cure for cancer or something? Like, this is a total waste of money and human potential. There's zero value in this. Yet these people are paid to research this, to lecture about it, to try and infect, young minds with their idea pathogen, with their woke mind virus. Truly baffling. There's the other one. Crazy eyes. They always got the crazy eyes. So yeah, total madness. World is crazy, people. World is crazy. And we're still on Canada for a little bit longer here, but Canada is totally insane. So what else are we going to do? Let's see. Harrison Faulkner posted this. He said, watch Canadian doctors lead a dance and rap performance at the COP30 Climate Summit to warn about the health impact of rising global emissions. Very serious people, he says. So I guess like wokeness causes a total lack of self-awareness and embarrassment, because otherwise you wouldn't do this, right?
In through the nose, out through the mouth. Fossil fuels gotta get phased out. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Fossil fuels gotta get phased out. In nose.
We need to make sure that our negotiators understand that a transition to clean energy also prevents local toxic health impacts from resource.
Notice the crazy eyes? Of course you did.
Extraction. We haven't even studied those health impacts. So those numbers, those health costs are not on anybody's budget table. They are treated as uncounted externalized health costs, and that is unacceptable. So transitioning to a clean energy environment will decrease air pollution, decrease water pollution, and allow our healthcare systems to continue to function appropriately to take care of not only this generation, but other generations.
I mean, are we all just fools? Make some noise if you think we should stop fossil fuel. Hey, put them up if you're ready to chant, 'cause the lungs.
Okay, a piece of advice. Now, this is not medical advice because I'm not a doctor, okay? If you walk into your doctor's office and he does that, leave. Get a new doctor's. Immediate second opinion anyway. I need a second opinion and a third opinion. Yeah, if your doctor does any of this, you walk in to the examination room and you see this.
Leaders understand that a transition to
out. You're out. If they ask if they can rap to you about global warming, out. New doctor immediately. Hard to get a new doctor in Canada. Like half the country doesn't even have a family doctor anymore, thanks to 10 years of progressivism and empathy and compassion. But even still, if you finally manage to get a family doctor and you walk in and it's this,
in through the nose, out through the mouth.
Just leave. You're better at the walk-in clinic. 100%. If that's your doctor, just leave. New doctor, walk-in clinic, whatever. Self-medicate, whatever you have to do. Fly to Mexico. Any Mexican doctor is going to be better than that. Total lunacy. Eileen McRae says doctors dance while our healthcare burns. I wonder if this is actually like if the government paid for them to do this. Let's see. Eva Chipiuk says, seriously, there are so many things wrong with this video. First, this is nowhere close to the public service of providing healthcare. And second, on what planet is this an appropriate way to manage an issue? If this is truly a serious matter, You don't act it out like a bad junior high school drama performance. The childish behavior on display would be embarrassing in any setting, let alone on an international stage. We have become a laughingstock because we allowed emotions to override facts and reason, and this is the result. Well, it's leftism encourages permanent adolescence. And that's what we're witnessing here, right? She's back in high school.
We need to make sure that our negotiators.
She's one of the cool girls now, right? She's reliving high school there. You know that actually, in fact, it's a certainty that thousands of, probably tens of thousands of dollars, $100,000, Canadian Doctors leads a dance and rap performance at the COP30 Climate Summit. Yeah, obviously, Mark Carney probably gave them $50 million to go and do their rap at COP30. What an embarrassment. But it's the leftism encourages permanent adolescence to just never grow up, to never deal with reality, to be a permanent child, to be ruled by your emotions. And everything is an appeal to authority, right? So, super embarrassing. Let's see. We're almost there. We're almost at the last tab. All right. Hold on one second. I want to all right. Looks like spam is spamming me with a million links. We'll do one of them. Hold on. Let's see. Let's take a look. I don't like to reward this kind of behavior, but he's usually got pretty good links. So let's see. What is this? Oh, yeah, that was pretty funny. Let's see. Spambutt says snooker fail. Yeah, it was a good one. Let's see. Let's see. What's going on here? Guys are talking about Meals on Wheels. What do we got? Rosie asks, at what age of baby does one start asking the baby for consent to change the diaper? Apparently right away. Apparently right away. It's just a good thing to start doing because crazy people said so. Nevada makes a great point here. I believe on the same topic. Absolute retards. Absolute retards. Radio Streamer says, I think I would feel violated if she was changing my diaper as well. You don't need words to be afraid of that. Well, true. True. Let's see. JDL says Liechtenstein, which is a tiny country. There was an old quote about Liechtenstein. Somebody said, I can't remember who it was, an old actress, I think, said referring to an actor, said, you're a man the way Liechtenstein is a country. I can't remember who said it to who. Something like that. In fact, you know what? I need to find out. Let's find out. Fact check. This one's for me. Quote. Who was it? Let's see. Hold on. I think that I'm misremembering it, and I think I am. So no, they don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, so screw it. Let's see. Ottawa James says Richie's on a roll. See, I'm getting so good at it. I didn't even know. It's just normal now. Let's see. Nevada says more retards. Very well. Let's see. Ottawa James says Alaska should be part of Canada. Well, that's interesting. I think the U.S. bought it from Russia, didn't they? Nevada says when doctors graduate, the best and the worst one both get a diploma. Well, that's true. Which is medical school is the worst place imaginable for DEI, by the way. All right, I'm going to skip down here. Steve, how you doing? Good to see you. He says permanent adolescence is the staple of every crazy leftist, and sadly every Democrat now. We got a lot. It's almost like a point of pride on the left now, no matter where you are. Let's see. Let's see. All right. All right. Am I flagging? Is my energy flagging? Okay, I got to pull it together. I got to have some more coffee. Hold on a second. JDL says Alaska belonged to Russia then. That's right. That's what I thought. Rosie says, say hello to Mickey. She dropped in. I missed you. I didn't see you in the chat there, Mickey. Good to see you. I had to skip down the chat a little bit because there's too much. You guys are too chatty. You guys are a bunch of chatty Cathys. Let's see. Nevada's saying, now, longtime listeners and chatters will know that JJ Nevada is obsessed with one day conquering Greenland. He sees himself as the emperor of Greenland at some point. I hope that he gets there. Personally, I support it 100%. But he talks about it every single stream. He's saying Denmark will never fight for Greenland. Just saying. I don't know. Get a couple of ships, JJ. Get some good men, and I think you might be able to take it. There's not that many people there. Rosie says, angry elf played by Peter Dinklage. Well, I'm not a dwarf, so that's what you're referring to earlier. I'm normal. I'm normal sized. Let's say JDL, Canada and Denmark border each other on Hans Island. Isn't that nice? Well, you can start there. You've got my permission. All right. So what do we got here? Okay. So one more Canada thing here. Jason James posted this. So here's Sam Cooper. He's an excellent journalist, an excellent Canadian journalist, and he specializes in like foreign interference and corruption. And let's hear this. So he's going to talk about China, Carney. He's going to talk about China and Carney and how much China likes Carney and how much it might have helped him in the election. Let's take a listen.
In the context of where Canada is in an increasingly dangerous world, with Mark Carney, in my view, pretty much lying his way into stealing the last election, more or less. Maybe not just Carney himself, but the Liberal Party has a political messaging, and I would call it warfare machine, which it's very clear now in some ways is getting some juice from Chinese Communist Party messaging.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. It's hugely dangerous. Add on top of that we're being told by people like Brian Lilly that the day after Carney wins a minority, his grinders are trying to get conservatives across the floor. like you say, whether illegal or not, that's unfair to Canadian voters. And what's blowing my mind about it is, as I say, I just think it was a total psyop election, unprecedented. The cross currents that were going on. I believe Chinese interference being a big part of it. And so to get a majority so that Mark Carney and Anita Anand can hammer through, as I just had an interview with sinologist Dr. Charles Burton, he says that is Mark Carney is going full Jean Chrétien, taking us back to the 1990s when Chrétien went all in on, trade with Beijing. And it hasn't worked out well for Canada, and it won't. And so if Carney's doing that again, and he wants to scrape a majority over, not at the polls, full stop, I just think that's horrible.
Yeah, totally. What else do you expect in Canada at this point? It's such a deeply corrupt country. We know that China's interfering. It doesn't seem to matter to Liberal voters. I mean, they've been interfering at least in the last 3 elections. They even interfered through the Chinese diaspora in Canada in the Carney leadership, in the Liberal leadership race after Trudeau as signaled he was stepping down. They even interfered in that to Mark Carney's benefit, right? They really wanted Mark Carney to be prime minister. And for Liberals, it just doesn't care. They don't ask, well, why exactly? Probably not good for Canada. It's probably good for China, but it just doesn't seem to matter. It never seems to matter, and everything is just underhanded, trying to lure conservative MPs, unprincipled conservative MPs over. And obviously, they're going to be doing it. If you're unprincipled enough to just lie, like D'Entremont, who just weeks ago was excoriating Carney and the Liberals for their budget and their spending. And all of a sudden, he's just a happy Liberal. Well, this is obviously somebody who had been lying to their constituents to get elected. I mean, he was only elected back at the end of, the election was the 28th of April. So obviously he hasn't actually changed his politics. He obviously just never had any and was just unprincipled all along. And why would you do that? Well, you're doing it for your personal benefit, obviously. It's already been established the guy was unprincipled, right? A liar, essentially. Betrayed everybody who voted for him, volunteered, donated. And look, it's politics. These are politicians. Can Carney find a couple more unscrupulous, unprincipled people that he can bribe? Let's not forget, Mark Carney has connections with like hundreds of companies, right? He has all of his friends are people in high places. He can make promises for after somebody's political career that they would never have had access to without Mark Carney calling in a favor. So obviously that's happening. Utterly corrupt. Liberal voters don't care. We shall see. But in any case, yeah, Canada it's just turning into a banana republic, quite frankly. Should we watch Mark Carney getting booed at the Grey Cup again? Let's do it one more time. I know we watched it last time. Let's check it out one more time. It's good. We never get sick of this.
God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, can God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, can
I love it. That's great. All right. So we got to the last tab, people. Let's do this. Anybody on YouTube, subscribe to the new channel, Radio Baloney News, all the world news, U.S. news, meme reviews and everything. Featured channel on this channel. Go subscribe there. YouTube ain't going to help me out. I'm relying on you guys. Let's go back to the chat for a second. Macross says, communism only works if the people are kept ignorant. Yep, but even then, eventually, well, I mean, the Soviet Union fell. The China's mutated from communist to really kind of like neo-fascist. I see fascism and communism as sister ideologies. They're both leftist. They're both collectivist. I think that's why China transitioned so seamlessly into a fascist state, because they're both left-wing states. They're both totalitarian. Nevada says commies hate facts too. Well, they certainly seem to hate history books. Let's see. Rosie's still asking 12 cushions. It's not 12 cushions. God damn it, Rosie. It's 3, and they're cheap ones. So they're flat. So I got to use 3 of them. My ass still hurts. Ottawa James says, Sam Cooper is legit. Yep, it's true. Rosie can take it, guys. Don't worry. Rosie can take it. Let's see. Izzy says, Sam isn't on the left's viewing list. Well, it's not. Here's the thing, and I've said this many, many times, is that if you are on the left, you never have to hear anything you don't like in Canada. So the leftists, the liberal voters, they have no idea what we think, what conservatives think. They have no idea what's happening in the independent media. There are just huge swaths of the political landscape they're completely blind to. If you're on the right, you have to see their news, the places they get their news from, because that's the mainstream media. You're surrounded by it. The culture is dominated by it, right? Everything that everything that you might see that's got a taxpayer funding, it's all the same stuff. We can't get away from it. We're swimming in leftist propaganda. But we also have independent media, like this channel, and like many others in Canada, like great stuff like Rebel News and Moose on the Loose. That's great channel. Elevate, lots of great stuff. Jasmine Lane, National Telegraph with Wyatt Claypool. There's lots. We also see that, right? John Bolton. We see all of that stuff. So we see both. We know what they think, and we know what we think. The left doesn't know what we think. We are just this bizarre stereotype in their mind. They have no idea what we think. They only know what they think. They only know what they're told to think by the legacy media. So we know what Rachel Gilmore thinks, but we also know what Sam Cooper thinks, and they're utterly and totally blind to it. They will just say that it's conspiracy theorists. So everything that they disagree with, anything that's an independent media is conspiracy theorists. And actually, even like, Toronto Sun, Brian Lilly, that's actually mainstream media. He's good, right? But they just call him, I don't know, he's far right, blah, 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 blah. So even that, and it's easy enough for them to avoid it because that's just one tiny bit. And most of what you see, because nobody reads the newspapers anymore, so really he's independent media as well, because you're seeing him online on YouTube videos or on I don't know, does he put up TikTok or Rumble, whatever. Izzy says they won't accept him as a source. No, they won't. Sam Cooper, they won't accept us. Absolutely not. They're allergic to it. The one that says commies hate facts too. They sure do. They sure do.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Let's see. But McCross says communism only works if people are kept ignorant. Well, yeah, Izzy says, or at least afraid. And that's the thing. Like North Korea is the perfect communist state. That's the ideal. That's the communist ideal. That's as close as you get to 1984 on Earth. In fact, it's pretty close, right? So at some point, Soviet Union fell, but North Korea can only fall if you have a leader who decides to be a reformer, and even then, probably the circle around, the militaries, the leader, the other officials in there they can just, who all have an interest in just keeping the status quo, would just get rid of him anyway. So, yeah, I mean, North Korea, it's just kind of like a permanent dystopia, unfortunately. It's horrifying and crazy to think that actually exists. Steve Tollison says, I've got my pitchfork and torch. Let's set sail for Greenland. Well, I am sure that JJ will be happy to have you aboard. Let's see. And he'll probably give you a really good post, like out of the treasurer or something, or minister of, maybe he'll make you minister of war. Let's see. Ray of Ram dropping a like. Thank you very much, sir. Good to see you. All right. Let's see. Steve Tollison says Canada's media is for sale. Well, I've said it a million times. Mark Carney, during the election, promised the CBC, which he's delivered on, by the way, but he promised the CBC an extra $150 million a year if he gets elected. Of course, that's implicit in that, right? He has to get elected to actually do that. Just open bribery. Let's see. What's this about Newfie Radio? What's this? Ottawa James? Fave Newfie Radio. What's going on? Let's see. No problem, Rosie. Let's see. Ottawa James says, I met Brian Lilly in Ottawa one time. He's good. I pay attention to Brian Lilly. He's very good. All right. JDL wants to be Secretary of State of Greenland. I'm sure he can do it. I'm sure a little bribe, maybe some cookies, chocolate chip cookies, probably help a lot. Nobody said that Nevada's not corrupt. Nobody said that. He can be bought off with some chocolate chip cookies, I'm sure. Let's see. The real reason the wheel and axe were invited. This is just funny. Let's take a look. The real reason the wheel was invented. Okay, let's take a look. Pretty good. Pretty good. Not bad. Not bad at all. I like it. I like it a lot. Very good. Let's see. Libs of TikTok. Elected Democrats just released a video encouraging members of the military to commit treason and defy orders from Trump and Hegseth. Well, I guess General Milley set the stage for this, didn't he? He set the precedent by unbelievably going around the commander-in-chief to talk to Chinese counterparts and tell them that, if Trump gave him an order that he didn't like, he wouldn't follow through. I mean, unbelievably shocking. I mean, how is that not treason? I don't get it. It's weird. But let's watch this. So what they do here is they lie. They falsely characterize Trump's actions as illegal and then say you have a responsibility to not follow his orders because they're illegal, falsely claiming that his orders are illegal. So this is the trick that they play for smooth-brained people who know nothing. Let's take a look.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly. Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy. Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now,
The threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
But what if they're not actually illegal? What if it's just these guys saying they are, right? Like, Trump isn't doing anything illegal. He's getting challenged by activist judges. It's getting sent up to higher courts. It's being then it's being overturned, or at the Supreme Court being overturned. That is how it's supposed to work. That's the checks and balances. He's not doing anything illegal, right? Like sending ICE in to get illegal immigrants there's nothing illegal about that. That's just the law. That's the law that was that was legislated by the representatives of the people that the people voted for. I find it really it's unbelievably dangerous what these people do. And it's, of course, the opposite of reality. Everything is an inversion of truth with the left now. That's what this is. But it's genuinely dangerous, you know? I really, really hope that Trump can be successful. And it's difficult, though, you know, long term, because as soon as these guys get back in, I mean, they're going to open the gates of hell on anybody standing in their way. We've already seen them do it, and it wasn't enough in the last election. They're going to go totally insane next time. Let's see. Steve Tollison says that he happily accepts the new post as Minister of War. There you go. This is starting to come together now, guys. This is really starting to come together now. You know, I think Greenland's going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome with an all Radio Baloney cabinet. Let's see. Let's see. Nevada saying this won't fly in Greenland. Absolutely not. Not in JJ Nevada's Greenland. Not a chance. Let's see. Izzy says, wish I hadn't heard the video. I thought it was a meme. Nevada says, what a bunch of losers. They will stop at nothing. 100%. How about this? Let's hear them again. And then I want to play. There's somebody here who just wants to add something to this conversation. Let's hear them talk again for a second. Let's just check it out.
Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical. And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't.
You can stuff it up your ass for nothing and fuck off while you're doing it.
Well, that's true. There was somebody else. I think that Jackie Gleason had something to add.
And that's nothing but pure and simple old-fashioned communism.
They're all Marxists. They're all Marxists. They're all, whether they realize it or not, they're Marxists. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Should I even do another ad read? I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Maybe I should. I don't know. Let's see. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do one more. 3 hours and 10 minutes in. Why not? Let's just do it. Let's do Rumble Premium. Why not? Let's go. Let's go there. You thought I wouldn't go there? Guess what? You've probably noticed Rumble is growing fast and it's not slowing down. They're building a real alternative to big tech that puts creators first. Hey, that's me. And actually protects free speech. And now there's Rumble Premium, an easy way to upgrade your experience. With Premium, you get ad-free viewing across the platform. No pre-rolls, no interruptions, no communism, just the content that you came for. Plus, Premium members unlock exclusive content like bonus videos. On Radio Baloney, you can get anti-communist materials, behind-the-scenes drops, and more from your favorite creators. Let me tell you something. I remember the day that I remember the moment that I got Rumble Premium, and I can tell you right now, honestly, it was the best moment of my life. Right now, Rumble is offering a $10 off an annual subscription. $10 off an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium. That's rumble.com/premium, and use the promo code studio at checkout. That's rumble.com/premium, promo code studio. It's so important. No ads, no communism, at least not on Radio Baloney. More freedom and content you actually care about. That's the deal. There we go. There we go. Usually don't do 3 ads anymore, but it's such a beautiful, big, beautiful ad that I thought I'd add it in there. You know, I want to honor the ad rates. I want to honor Rumble Premium, and I think I did a really good job there. Really proud of myself. All right. Let's see. What else are we doing? JDL says it's called seditious what they are doing. Yes, that's probably the right word, isn't it? Rosie says military must follow legal orders. Read about the Russian Revolution, the Bolsheviks. This is all straight out of that playbook. I mean, they worked very hard to compromise the military. It's one thing they worked very hard for. And it's all, I get everything we're saying is out of the Bolshevik playbook. That's 2 shots, everybody. I said it twice. Let's see. Macross says, if it's a war situation, your commander can shoot you where you stand. Let's see. Izzy says, the love of the commie hate, 20-25 out of 10. I believe that's almost the most you can get out of 10. Thank you very much, Izzy. Got no time for effing around. Drink, Spambot says. Now, everybody like the stream. Everybody get your free good karma. As you know, I build up this reservoir of good karma while I'm preparing for the streams, and I have to give it away. Otherwise, it would be bad karma. So, like the stream now, get your good karma in these troubled times. Can you really afford to turn your back on that good karma? Commies everywhere? I wouldn't do it. I think you're crazy. I heard somebody didn't like the stream and they died. It was terrible. It was awful. How many families need to be destroyed by people just simply liking the stream? It's so easy. So easy. All right. Also, people, if anybody wants to help out the channel, you become a channel member. Become a channel member. It's the best way anybody can help out the channel. Or gift a channel membership to somebody that you love and care about. It's a very important. Or just a random person. And that's kind of how it works out. It just randomly assigns them. But everybody would be really happy about it. You can change somebody's life tonight for less than the cost of a Tesla Cybertruck. It's true. Not everybody knows that. Let's see. What the hell are you guys talking about? No, what the fuck are you guys talking about? JDL Richie, can you get citizenship in Canada if you are of Canadian descent? I don't know. Probably. I mean, it seems like anybody can now, so I'm gonna guess yes. Probably being white would probably be a major roadblock, and being able to speak English would be a roadblock, or being able to support yourself would be a roadblock as well, I'm guessing. Let's see. Rosie says, great ad read. Commie hate. Chocolate chip cookies for you. 10 out of 10. Thank you so much, Rosie. That's almost the most you can get out of 10. Let's see. Izzy says, such a silly, pointless death. I know exactly. Let's see. All right. Dramus says, how you doing, Dramus? Got to be very talented to make people like ads like Richie does. Well, it's true. What you really need is a passion. You need a passion for reading ads, which I have. That's the only reason I started this whole channel, because I've always had a dream and a passion for reading ads. I'd never had the confidence. Finally, I used to just read ads at home. You know, I just read them at home. I used to record myself on tape recorders, my old tape recorder, just record myself reading an ad for like Weetabix or something, you know, and just listen to myself, and dreaming one day that I too would be able to read ads for 34 cents on the internet. And now that dream has come true. So, yeah, things turned out pretty good. Pretty good for old Richie Baloney. All right, let's finish off this. Let's finish this off, people. Let's finish it. Butengebiden? I don't know. Smile for your timeline. There we go. This is just nice. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that dog. He's a happy dog. He's loving it. It's so interesting how, like, humans and dogs separated on the evolutionary tree, like, 60 million years ago? And we're different animals. You know, we're both mammals, but we're different animals, and we have very different brains. But there are places. I was just noticing this last night with Mr. Snacks. You know, we're hanging out together on the couch, and there are experiences that we both have that are something like mutual experiences. There are experiences that we have that are something like experiences that there are experiences that I have that are something like experiences that Mr. Snacks has. Like if we're startled, right? We have the same response. Like people, dogs, they'll jump, right? They're like, if you get startled, you have the same, it's something like the same thing. You know, and they're like getting scratched there. Like it's something like if you're getting a massage, say, right? It's something like that. Like fear, they feel fear. It's something like the same experience that you would have, right? Hunger, greed. Dogs are greedy, notoriously greedy, right? I find it just so fascinating, right? Like they're not chimps. They're not like our closest ancestor, our common ancestor, like whatever that animal was 6 million years ago. I find that endlessly fascinating and just so strange that we have these two totally different animals that share experiences that would be somewhat understandable or recognizable to the other between these two species. I think that's so. I just think there's something amazing about that. Let's see. Dolphin escape orca. So that's what they're saying this is. But we've talked about, I've told you about dolphins before, right? So it's trying to escape the orca. No, it's not. Everybody knows that dolphins are the rapists of the ocean. He was trying to sexually assault that woman because that's what dolphins do, right? And the orca was trying to stop him. Orcas are the police of the ocean as well. So, but also we should note as well that this is not real and it's AI. So there's also that aspect. So none of this actually happened. But it's also true. Let's say incredible and magical moments of bottlenose dolphins swimming in water with bioluminescent organisms. So this is absolutely AI. This is 100% AI. That's just not real. The weird thing is that, I mean, I don't know, maybe I just AI, how do you even know anymore? I mean, it's gotten so good. How do you even know? I'm just looking at that and thinking, well, I've never seen anything like that before. I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. So I just think it's I don't think it's the AI thing, it's just, is it gonna just ruin everything? Like, I don't know. Will there be an AI radio baloney at some point? Can't tell the difference. I don't think that an AI could ever impersonate me correctly because I'm too erratic and weird, and I stumble over my tongue too many times. And I just don't think it can do that. I think there'd always be an uncanny valley trying to impersonate me. But maybe not. I don't know. The moment when a child's dream came true. This is awesome. All right, let's check this out. This is really great. Child's dream came true. Yeah, that's one you'll just remember for your whole life. Never forget for your whole life. Let's see. So this guy, he was out too late last night. Yikes. I think that's real. This just has the feeling of being real to me. Oh, yeah. And that could happen because that, like, it's like 2 stories high, right? Of stuff. So I don't know, pretty scary. That was a close call for that guy. Bad parent, woman propaganda, bad parent. Let's take a look. So this is, I guess, a mom who just has the kid 2 days a week. And this is what she does. I guess really overcompensates when she has the kid. And yeah, let's take a look.
Oh, okay. So we'll get both because we need like a good drink. Yeah. Okay, good. I can't drink that. You can't, but mommy will. Okay. Okay, ready? 1, 2.
So she sees her kid twice a week, and on the days she gets to see her kid, she decides to get blackout drunk on red wine.
Well, okay, that's not entirely fair. You don't know she's going to get blackout drunk on one bottle of wine. Of course, she's obviously going to drink the entire bottle of wine, right? But you don't know she's going to get blackout drunk on it. So that's a little unfair.
You don't even want to be a mom. Just give the father full custody. The kids will be better off with the dad. Satan owns our country. And the women are out of control. The women are just going along with it. Satan is their daddy.
So, I don't know. That felt pretty patriarchal to me. Pretty patriarchal to me. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like overcompensation and probably doing a very poor job from what I can see there. And what are you doing out in a grocery store in your pajamas? That's ridiculous. Now, what's this one here? Big dicks halfway in? Oh.
Look at this. Perfect. Oh my God. Look at this. Perfect. Oh my God. Look at this.
They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. Get your mind out of the gutter. Pretty sure that dude in the red Fiat is still pulling that car seat out of his ass. Let's take a look. I checked to see if this was AI, but there wasn't anything indicating that it was. God damn it, the music. I got to turn that off. This video is an ad for an online casino, watermark at the bottom of the screen, which goes against X's policy, but doesn't say anything about AI. I don't know. It looks like it's almost too much for... Like, would a car keep spinning in circles like that? For that long? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's see. Oh, that's it. That is it. That is it for the evening. All right. Let's get to the end of the chat here. Let's see. Spambot is still putting up more links. All right, let's go. Let's see. Did we look at this one yet? Paste. National Roast. Are you or someone you know a liberal? Ask your doctor about Libtardol. Libtardol. Our patented time-release capsules are clinically proven to keep your elbows low and common sense high. Cure woke brain rot with Libtardol. Let's see. Restores common sense. Well, that would be handy. Non-drowsy formula. Libtardol. Libtardol. Let's see. National roast. I'll take 5. Well, let's see. I'll take 40 million, please. Yes, we're going to need every one of them. Every last bill. Hold on. Oh, God damn it. I did it, didn't I? I did it. I did it. I forgot to show it. Well, we're 3 hours and a half in. We're going to show it again. Hold on. Paste. Let's go. Here we go. National roast. Are you or is someone you know a liberal? Ask your doctor about Libtardol. Our patented time-release capsules are clinically proven to keep your elbows low and common sense high. Cure woke brain rot with Libtardol. And there we go. Non-drowsy, restores common sense. Libtardol. And as I said, I'll take 41 million of them, and we'll need every last pill. There we go. At some point in every stream, I'm going to forget to go back to the main screen again. You guys know this. You know that's going to happen. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Izzy says, Richie mixtapes from the 80s were ad reads. Exactly. Used to read all the best ads. Let's see. All the best ads. I'm talking about chocolate bars, bags of chips, Coca-Cola, all of it. Let's see. Macross is saying something very disturbing here. Goat milk fudge brownies for Richie? For those whose sick minds went in the gutter. Goat milk fudge brownies for Richie. Oh, why would you say such a thing? Deeply offended. I've got to have some buttons for that. Hold on.
Oh, good for you.
Exactly.
What absolute twaddle.
Absolutely there. What a thing to say. Goat milk fudge brownies. Oh, that's like a curse on me. Never again. Let's see. Let's see. Talking about the cute dog. What else we got? The Red Green Show on PBS. Remember, JDL says, well, that was a Canadian show originally, wasn't it? Let's see. Spambot says orcas eat dolphins. What orcas do is, so everybody knows that dolphins are the ocean's rapists. So orcas are they are like the police. So they try and stop the dolphins from raping just innocent sea creatures, innocent sea creatures, just the weakest, of the weak, like tortoises and that sort of thing, or like if they can get like an octopus. I mean, it's really awful. We're talking just serious dolphin gangbangs. It's bad. It's really bad. Like a grouper, they see a grouper, they're just all over it. It's awful, awful. So let's see. Ottawa James says dolphins are awesome. Why would you say such a thing? Why would you say that? You know about dolphins. Let's say. Spedball Fodder says orcas eat sharks. Well, they do eat sharks. They do. Let's see. Spambot says orcas kill people. They'll certainly do that. Let's see. Rosie says, we are not animals. We are made in the image of our creator. However, I love the chapter C.S. Lewis wrote on animals in heaven and their relationship with us. When we love an animal, love elevates it. Well, I'd never say everybody. I've said many times, nobody is under any obligation to agree with me on everything. And so I'm totally cool with that. It's fine. I know for a fact that I have not been right about everything in my life. And I will probably be wrong about things, during however long left that I have. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. What are you guys even talking about in here? Let's see. Are potato guns legal in Canada? Probably not. Probably not. They'll probably ban, like butter knives and forks and stuff soon. Just cutlery. You won't be able to use cutlery anymore. Let's see. Macross says, am I supposed to be drunk after one bottle of wine? Now I know. I will know better next time. When I was still drinking, one bottle of wine to me was nothing. That was nothing. I could easily drink a bottle of wine and nobody would have any idea that I drank, other than just alcohol smell on my breath. That was a bottle of wine was nothing to me. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Share on screen. Okay, I missed that. Let's see. Uranus, Missouri is up the road for me. Libtardol, like everybody likes that. Izzy supports taxpayer-funded supply of Libtardol. Me too. Let's see. Red Green was Canadian. That's right. Spambot says, I live at the top of a hill. All my neighbors have studded tires or chains, or both like me, to not slide down the hill every time we have freezing rain. Well, you're in Alberta too, yeah, so let's see. Steve says that drug, I think we're talking about Libtardol still, definitely needs to be over the counter. Let's see. JDL says Forever Night, great vampire drama TV series out of Canada. I had no idea that existed. I just remember The Littlest Hobo. Let's see. Let's see. Rosie says, I will gift a sub if you sing the song Alberta is the place we ought to be. So we loaded up the truck to move to Central Canada. Okay, so I'll sing it, sure. Let's see. I don't know that song, but I'll sing those words. Alberta is the place that we ought to be, so we loaded up the truck to move to Central Canada. There we go, done. Now give me my sub, please. Let's see. One day after an ice storm, my dad actually ice skated to work. Surprised the hell out of the bus went across. Well, when I lived in Alberta when I was a kid, yeah, we used to get our skates out and actually skate on the road sometimes, just in front of the house, because the ice would be thick. Let's see. Ottawa James, I liked a little Hobo. Maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I cannot watch that or hear that song without tearing up a little. Well, I don't tear up, but just getting that feeling, that nostalgic feeling. I don't know. I love that show when I was a kid, and there's something so innocent and nice about it. It just represents like kind of like what Canada used to be, like what a nice place Canada used to be. And it just had its own culture. And the CBC back then was a part of that. It was a big part of that. Right. And it was actually there to serve all the people of Canada, and it didn't hate us. It didn't hate everybody outside of like Montreal and Toronto. So I feel serious like nostalgia, and it makes me emotional hearing that. I have this deep connection to the Littlest Hobo. Let's see. It's from the show Beverly Hillbillies. I don't know. What do you want from me? What do you people want from me? It's 3 hours and 36 minutes into this show. For God's sakes. You're demanding that I remember the Beverly Hillbillies fucking song? I don't remember it. Let me tell you something. I don't remember it. There's a lot of things I don't remember. I don't remember the Bob Newhart theme song, right? I couldn't remember the MASH song. If you gave me $1 million right now, my brain is fried. I've been doing 3 hours and 36 minutes of live streaming, folks. What am I? Some sort of like television show theme song robot? Did Tesla make me and send me here to my house and give me this setup so I could stream and sing everybody theme songs from fucking old TV shows? I'll tell you what, I know a theme song. I know that song from The Littlest Hobo. I already sang it to you, and it's the only one worth singing. It's the only one worth a damn. There's only one I care about. I don't care about anything but The Littlest Hobo. It's the only thing that means anything to me in this world, and it's the only thing that ever will. So I hope that clears things up on the whole TV show song thing. Does anybody remember Simon and Simon? What was that song? I don't know. I don't even want to get started there. Jeffersons. I should know the Jeffersons, but I can't. My brain doesn't work anymore, people. What, are you trying to embarrass me? Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to embarrass me? He can't even remember the Jeffersons theme song. Bet he doesn't even remember Samson and Son. Well, here's a newsflash. I don't. Go ahead, laugh. Point, laugh. That guy, his brain's broken. He can't even remember the theme song to Different Strokes. What a loser. What a loser. Let's just keep watching. I bet you any song other than The Littlest Hobo, he wouldn't even have a clue. He wouldn't even have a clue. What a pathetic thing. What a sad thing. Thank God we're not that. There, but for the grace of God go I. I mean, the thing is, I wish I did. I wish I could remember the theme song to Sanford and Son. You know, I wish I could remember the melody to Hill Street Blues. I really do. But I can't. My brain is broken, people. I'm broken. I'm a broken man. Let's see. Charlie's Angels, forget it. Let's see. What else we got going? This is what being Canadian does to you. It's weird how my best rants are actually nothing to do with politics. It's just about insane things. Let's see. All right. Where were we here before you guys started triggering me? Let's see. I have to sing it. No, Beverly. No. I still can't remember it. Radio Streamer says, well, why would you say such a thing? Timu Lassie? Littlest Hobo is Timu Lassie. No. Littlest Hobo was the upgrade. Thanks very much. Let's see. Rosie says, trying to get the sub to go through. Sweet, precious subs. Sweet, precious, gifted subs. It really is the best thing to help the channel, by the way. It's awesome. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Rosie gifted a sub. Who got it? Who got the sub? Mickey was, how you doing, Mickey? Mickey was gifted a sub by Rosie. What a beautiful thing. Well, you know what that means. Obviously, Rosie is the best person ever, and let's prove it right now. So there you have it, folks. It's done. It's decided. Better than a Nobel Prize. Best person ever on Radio Baloney for Rosie for gifting a membership. It's really quite a deal, actually, getting to be the best person ever. I'm talking all time here, right? All time. Anybody that you admire from the past, like your personal hero, whatever, sorry, all dog shit. Worse, just human garbage compared to Rosie. They may be cool. They may be great. Human garbage compared to Rosie. And all for less than the price of a brand new Tesla Cybertruck. Let's go. Feeling to my grade. Can't go wrong. Let's see. Izzy says, yeah, I used to support CBC. Said they turned to the dark side. Well, it's like every institution got taken over by fucking lunatics. Let's see. JDL says Sharon Tate, the actress, that's the one who was killed by the Mansons, was in several episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies. That's so, I didn't know that. Interesting. Radio streamer's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't mock me. Don't you dare mock me. Let's see. Oh, God damn it. Look at all these goddamn links. This is just becoming like a sign of disrespect at this point. Let's see. All right. Well, here's one. Here's one from Macross. Let's see. God damn it. Never going to go to sleep. Never going to get to be able to sleep. I'm just the link monkey now. I'm just a link monkey. Everybody throw your links at the link monkey. What's this? Beverly Hillbillies theme song? God damn it. You're mocking me. You guys are mocking me. Skip.
I'm gonna listen to a story about a man, so the poor man, the captain
You guys may not like this, but compared to the Littlest Hobo theme, this is basically the Holocaust. It's awful. Just awful. In fact, I'm going to prove it to you. I didn't want to have to do this because I didn't want people to get upset and be like crying at home and stuff because they're so moved, but let's just do it. We're going to have to do it. I got to show you. There we go. Here we go. Get ready.
Your wallet sucks. That's why we invented the Ridge.
Shut up. There we go. Let's skip it. Any TV show in history. Clearly, everything else is garbage. Everything else is basically the Holocaust compared to this. Hands down. And I'm not, and you can disagree. Feel free to disagree if you like. But if you do, you're human garbage. So just saying. Let's see. Steve Tolson says, no one remembers the Bob Newhart theme song. I think you're right. Let's see. What else have we got here? JDL says, Richie, I live in the Ozarks. I saw a TV show about that. It seems pretty scary there. Gotta say. I think it was called Ozark. Let's see. Spambot's got another link. Let's take a look at that. Anyway, I'm happy that I proved to everybody that Littlest Hobo theme song is the most beautiful theme song of all time. So I'm glad we've got that. We've got that settled. We've got that resolved. What's going on here? So here's from Spambot. Mount Moron. So that's Trudeau. There's Carney. There's Jugmeat Singh. There's that Chrystia Freeland. So, I mean, the amazing thing is that Mark Carney, it's turning out, is even worse than like Trudeau and Freeland, amazingly, and even worse than Jugmeat. It's an incredible thing. All right. Another link here. I don't like doing this, you guys. I don't like doing it at all. I hate it when you send me links. I hate it. But I do it anyway because I'm weak. If I only had the strength to refuse this, I don't know. Be happy. I'd be real proud of myself. Oh, that's just, oh, that's the Beverly Hillbillies again. Not doing that. What's this one here? Just degrading myself playing these links. Here, Link Monkey, play this link. Link Monkey, dance, Link Monkey. Does that say Tuckahoe Id? Is that what that says? Funny name for an inn. It is. If that was an F on the front, that would really be something. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. I don't feel too violated with that one. All right. I think I've caught up with the links. All right. Let's see. All right, let's get back to the chat for a second. Let's see. JDL says, I'm a big Rush fan. I like Rush. Let's see. Not like a huge fan, but I've seen them in concert. I went and saw them. I think my girlfriend that I took was the only woman in the arena, I believe. Now what's going on? No one remembers the Bob Newhart theme song. Let's see. No one remembers the level as Ho Ho either. I don't know what that means. Don't know, Steve. You got me on that one. Let's see. Ottawa James says, I got maybe tomorrow I'll want to settle down in his head now. See? Steve says sad, very sad. It's a deeply moving song. Let's see. Steve says, well, at least you remember to do Call Me Hate. Well, I only remember because you guys remind me. And at least you're not bitter. I honestly think the highlights of my entire channel have nothing to do with politics or anything. It's just me ranting about insane things. Let's see. It's like I get possessed. It's not like by a demon. It's like by an angel, though, because it's obviously very productive and beautiful when I'm ranting. But it's like something comes over me and I can't control myself. Let's see. Rosie says, just please do not mention that gold monkey to him and remind him. Well, that reminds me. So Sunday, I tried to get out of it. I cannot. I have an obligation I have to do Sunday night that I have to do on Sunday night, and I can't get out of it. So no stream Sunday night. I think we're just going to come back on Tuesday. I've gone way over the hours I need for the Rumble Premium streams. So I think we'll just wait until next week to do the premium again, and then we'll do it 3 weeks in a row. And but yeah, after tonight, I think it'll just be Tuesday. I think unless I I can't on Sunday. Maybe I will on Sunday if I get an extra boost of energy. So on Monday, but probably not back till Tuesday. And then we go back on again. Let's see. All right. Izzy says that was a nightly watch as a child, Littlest Hobo. I mean, what's not to like for a kid? I mean, it's a dog. It's an awesome dog. Great, best theme song of all time. What's not to like? Don't you dare throw the Flipper theme song at me. Don't you dare. Let's see. Yes, everybody agrees. It's demonstrably true that the Littlest Hobo theme song is the best song ever of all time. Let's see. The most moving, the most beautiful. Let's see. Ottawa James says, my one regret was never seeing Rush. Well, I just saw them the one time. They're great. Again, my girlfriend was the only woman in the 20,000 seat arena. Rosie says, I swear there are more goats in this show every time we watch it. Maybe so. The Jetsons? We're not going there. Let's see. Spambot says, this is a good one here. The only themes music for shows that come to mind, A-Team, Was it? What was it? What was the A-Team one again? It's almost there in my head. Welcome back, Cotter. Well, Welcome Back, Cotter is the second best theme song of all time. Welcome back. That's a great one. WKRP. I can't remember Gilligan's Island. Maybe Gilligan's Island's the third best one. I would say that Welcome Back, Cotter theme song by John Sebastian, formerly of the Lovin' Spoonful. He wrote that after he left the Lovin' Spoonful, and that's the second best theme song of all time, obviously. Radio Streamer says Golden Girls. Did you ever call them the Golden Ghouls? I bet you some people called them that. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Steve Tolson says, "What little Jimmy Canada just fell down a well." Well, that's why it's handy to have a littlest hobo traveling from town to town, making new friends. Let's see. Because he's like a hobo, but he's the littlest one. Let's see. Cal, how you doing? Says there is nothing more dangerous in this world than white women with liberal arts degrees. Well, that's true. We've talked about that before. Rosie says, my sister and I keep threatening to play air guitar to Pet Benatar in restaurants. Heartbreaker. We may do it one day. Please do. Please do, and video it, and then put it up on X. Please. Spambot says, Rush always had a great show. Yeah, they were really good. Let's see. Let's see. Spambot says, my sister's best friend called them Golden Ghouls. I knew it. I knew I couldn't be the only one. All right. Well, I think that they let me do another ad read. Then no, there's no way. They only let me do 3. No, they're not letting me do it. No. I did all 3. Now it's over. Now it's done. All right. All right. Before we go, very quickly, just for the YouTube people, Rumble, everything's the same. But on YouTube, I split my channel into 2. So there's this channel, which is live streams and the Canadian news, and the new one, Radio Baloney News. That's where all of the U.S. news, world news, and like meme reviews, woke mind virus stuff, all that's going over there now. So it's a featured channel on the homepage of this one. Please go there. The algorithm hates me. The purple-haired communist gremlins at YouTube hate me. So it's up to you. Don't let the gatekeepers win. All right. And everybody like the stream and subscribe wherever you are. It's very important. I heard some people didn't do that, and they all died. Every last one of them. It was awful. Awful. Let's see. All right. Well, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. So, as much as I feel violated by you guys throwing so many links at me, I got to say there's some pretty good links. Pretty good links there. So I guess maybe next time you can throw a few more links my way, I guess I will tolerate that much because some are pretty good. I want to thank everybody. You guys made me laugh out loud quite a few times tonight. So that's way better. If it was just me, if you guys weren't here, it would be a cold and different universe and it'd be depressing. But you guys are here, so it's not. So if you keep showing up, I will keep showing up. We will be back now. Maybe just check in maybe on Monday night if you want. Might make an appearance for the premium stream, but probably just Tuesday night now. So because I Sunday I just can't. I tried to get out, I can't. Everybody have a great weekend. And look at that, we're almost 4 hours in. Everybody have a great weekend. Hope to see everybody on Tuesday night. And yeah, have fun, everyone. Watch The Littlest Hobo on YouTube. That's all I'll say about that. Anyway, good night, everyone.